Welcome back to episode 303 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast.
Put a couple of dumb Minnesotans behind a mic, sprinkle in a crazy Canadian, and it's a Gong Show Super Show.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. It is a super show today. This is a new one. I don't think we've ever done a show like this, which we'll get into in a second. Very excited about it. Have lots of amazing guests today. Hi, Phil. Hi, Louie. How are you?
Great.
Fantastic. Doing good, boys.
I feel like we talk to each other every 15 minutes, so these intros get a little weird at some point because it's like, usually it's like, hey, how have you been? But it's like, I just talked to you seconds ago. So we'll just get into the show.
Sure.
Friday Nights of Phil. What's happening tomorrow?
We're actually having a very special friend of mine and guest and entrepreneur, Carter, who's hosting the Saskatoon show, is coming on. Oh, crap. No, that is this Friday. Yes, I thought it's Carter. Yeah. If it's not Carter, it's definitely someone else, but I'm pretty sure it's Carter. And we're going to be chatting a little bit, not too much on the development of Saskatoon. I kind of don't really want to scratch that surface. I'd like to get to know Carter's the way he collects better, because I think the audience in the chat will really, really benefit from it. Carter is a Fleer aficionado. So yeah, big time. We're going to get in some Fleer, some really sleeper cards. It's going to be a big fan. Nothing came out this week, but I had this idea that a lot of people don't know, especially Americans, pretty much only the Americans who we do have in the chat. They don't know the Hockey Sweater children's book. So I ordered 10 of them. I ordered 10 books, and every non-release week, we're going to give away a Hockey Sweater book, and I'll mail it to the prize winner person. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do our games. We're going to do it. It'll be fun. Just come hang out Friday night.
You could have Friday night bedtime stories with Phil. And
I'll read the Hockey Sweater. Thank you, Louie. That's what I'm doing.
Creepy bedtime stories with the loud collector. Nice costume there, Phil. Where did you get that?
I wear that every Sunday.
Oh,
my Corchester. Yeah.
Hey. Got to mention GP Sports Cards, the official breaking partner of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. Grant will be live breaking like he always is on Friday night on YouTube. Did you guys see that he got back from Fanatics Fest and instantly started break? He cannot take a day off. I think he's going to be on Monday's show while we're still working on it. He wants to talk all about Fanatics Fest, which I'm really curious on, because I got to admit, it kind of looked awesome based on all the reels and social content that people were sharing. So go to gpsportscards.com. Make sure you get your break spots. He's still breaking the cup almost every day. Stature, Ultimate, all the other big new hockey products. And then also you can catch GP Sports Cards on Whatnot. Go and bookmark their store. I think Wednesday mornings is typically when they've been breaking, but I'm sure they'll add to that because they can't stop, won't stop. And he's an addict. He literally can't stop.
We'll intervene. I'm going to intervene as a friend after I get a few cards from him I want. And then I'm going to...
You're going to use them.
Oh, what? Everyone's got to win in these situations. Come on.
Quick Discord update. On Tuesday, episode 6 of our Discord exclusive show, Behind the Bench with IFC, or Neil, went live, and it was awesome. Yep. Neil is like maybe the preeminent pen person in the world. If anyone deserves to go to the Upper Deck pen room, it's Neil. And he did a whole show on how to have the right strategery if you're going to get like an IP auto card signed at a trade show or send one into one of these mail order companies, whatever they are, from selecting the right the different marker types, the right colors, practicing etiquette. He kind of broke it down. Like, it was a masterclass, and it was awesome. And
if you were Sharpie, wouldn't you? If I was Sharpie, I'd call Upper Deck. I'd be like, hey, there's a collab here. If Snoop Dogg can collab with Martha Stewart, Sharpie can collab with Upper Deck.
Right.
Yeah, I'm seeing like a Fireball and Sharpie collab with IFC here. I'm sure he would love that.
And Upper Deck would be smart to invite Neil to their pen room. When he leaves, that pen room will be cleaner than when he walked in.
Oh, he would reorganize it. He could do a training for the Upper Deck.
Put the new labels on. Some new guy.
He'd probably save him a room. He'd be like, you guys don't want to use this crap. Get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, it's his best one yet. And if you I would challenge anyone. If you didn't learn something, Phil will send you a creepy children's book.
Would you? It's not. Listen, it is not a creepy children's book. It is part of my country's growth and heritage. It's a heritage moment.
Growth.
All right, Breezer boys.
All right, we have Breezer Boys. We have a huge show, but one last thing before we get started is a reminder that our show, this show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. What that means is we rely, we really do, on the support of listeners and watchers, the good listener. Do we have a good, is it like good viewer, good happy?
No, good listener. That's why it's fun, because it doesn't make sense.
That's the catch-all. All right. The good listener, like yourself, to help us cover our show expenses, produce what we hope to be more and better hockey card content, than in fun initiatives to grow the hobby, like Rip Party. Coming.
Yeah. You sounded like Grimlock from Transformers there.
Oh boy.
Me, Grimlock. Yeah, I remember that. It's very easy to support us. You can do it for as little as $5 a month. Be one of the first 299 supporters of our show. You get exclusive access to the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, the most popular lonely man community on the internet, according to Phil. And make friends. Show your cards. Watch behind the bench. We're shipping out boxes to winners of contests galore, left and right. It's a really good time. If you want to support us, go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. Click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page, or go to Patreon directly, patreon.com. Search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There happens to be a link in the show description in both YouTube and podcast apps for the good listener, and in our Instagram and TikTok profiles too. The one, the only Baba Louie, Bobo Lubai.
Yeah.
We have 3 new people that have blessed us with the presence in our community since our last show. You want to shout them out, please?
I do. First one up is John Doe. Joined the 299.
He wants to be anonymous.
Yeah, I guess so. And then I don't know the correct way to say this, but Fogas Canadians. And so I was like, well, what in Sam is that? So
I don't know.
Well, so I did a little digging. Phil, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but because there's it's so Fogas. It's a wording for maybe an unattractive person or thing, like fugly, or maybe it refers to a person who is foolish or silly. It can also imply someone who is clumsy or inept in their actions. I don't know. I'm off.
I'm not. I have no idea what. I thought it's 2 words just put together.
This is why we love you, Bob. Nobody does this level of investigative reporting in this hobby than you. So this is amazing.
Well, I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to pronounce it. So
maybe they're just talking about their favorite type of weather and body part. I don't know.
I guess it's a eastern side thing, like New Brunswick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a lonely first generation Greek in a beautiful country, so don't know.
Well, I know that we joke at times. A lot of times that you're barely Canadian, but you literally cannot answer any question about Canada. You realize that, right? Like, it's astounding how un-Canadian you are.
So in the history.
That was mean. Well, Josh, did you want to give your announcement? Were you going to do your announcement today? I thought you were.
Well, everybody, I have an announcement to make. I am officially switching hockey teams and becoming an Ottawa Senators fan.
What, Josh?
Did you hear that? Here, listen again.
Everybody, I have an announcement to make. I am officially switching hockey teams and becoming an Ottawa Senators fan. I see your AI, and I
got a little package. Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Phil? Oh my God! Guess what? I have a little ding dong, but it's so cute.
Oh God! And
yeah. You want me to play it again?
I do.
You just wait for my next video, son.
And anyway, while whatever, Fogas,
Phil?
step off.
Oh my God! Guess what? I have a little ding dong, but it's so cute.
Oh,
it is.
That's what you get.
You just let me know when we're ready.
Josh doesn't know what to say.
He doesn't.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, sure, whatever. I win.
Yeah, touche.
Anywho, number 3, Holy 48. Thanks to all 3 of you guys for joining this wonderful.
I wonder, is this Axel Foley from our mailbag questions?
Probably.
Beverly Hills Cop is like the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They don't make movies like that. I'm trying to get Cole to watch There's Something About Mary, because I don't think kids
really?
today would be like,
Great show.
like they wouldn't have your kids watch that.
Oh, you couldn't make that movie today. I don't think like a studio.
No, not at all. Or Tropic Thunder, one of the all-time classic. Oh my god. I mean, there's so many.
Is that Harry? Anyways,
didn't Matt Damon did a conjoined twin movie too with Greg Kinnear, I think, or something? Like there's so many 90s movies. I don't know what they were thinking.
Pablo Louis, go ready with the game plan?
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking today. Starting off with the biggest hockey eBay auction ever with Karn Rai from Slab Sharks. If you haven't seen it, gotta check it out. Pretty bad. ASS.
Pretty faux gas.
Pretty faux gas. And then we jump into the kind of we forgot about the NHL draft. So we got an NHL draft preview with the one and only Russ Cohen. And following that, it's getting into a little Parkhurst champions. It's some inside info with Patrick Smith. Party time.
Yeah.
Pat.
Party time. Pat.
Party time, Pat.
3 interview show. That's basically all today's show is, because we would try something new, right? So we hope you enjoy it. And with that, we're going to roll right into our first guest, which is Karn Rai from Slab Sharks. So the other day we had the opportunity to chat with Karn. A huge time for Slab Sharks. They have landed the 23-24 Ultimate Collection Connor Bedard Rookie Shield Auto 101 live right now on Slab Sharks. Ends next Thursday night, a special 10-day auction. We wanted to connect with Karn to get the story of how they got the card itself, what he thinks it means for Slab Sharks and eBay and the hockey community to get this listing, and just some other general updates on how Slab Sharks is building their business and trying to change the game for hockey collectors. So with that, we hope you enjoy this conversation with Karn Rai. We are pleased to welcome back to the show Karn Rai from Slab Sharks. Hey, Karn, how are you?
Hey, guys. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing well. So big week at Slab Sharks. Just a little card went up for auction on Monday. The 2023 Ultimate Collection, Connor Bedard, NHL Shield 101. Oh, there it is, right there.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys are touting this, and a kind of, a good place to start maybe, as the biggest, or hockey's biggest eBay auction ever. And when you kind of think about it and go through, is typically cards like these do end up in the more traditional auction houses. So how did you guys land this listing or this card? And then, maybe part 2, we can get into why do you think it's important for not just Slab Sharks, but for eBay to get a listing like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing I want to mention is, we've gotten some comments saying, oh, it's a stretch calling this card the biggest hockey auction ever on eBay. And I'll start off there. It absolutely is. It's just whether you're a believer of Connor Bedard or not, you cannot kind of question the level of interest, the level of action, the level of people that are watching a card like this due to the fact that Connor Bedard was an extremely hyped prospect. And whether you believe he's a superstar or not, we're not saying it's the most valuable hockey card ever made. Very valuable. It's already at $76,000 with 9 days left. It's not a PSA 10 Gretzky O-Pee-Chee rookie, but it's definitely the biggest eBay auction ever. I think we're already at 700 watchers. It blew past 3x more watchers than a Babe Ruth Gowdy. That's in second place right now. We're talking worldwide. So not just Canada. We're talking about the whole eBay network. So it's a pretty insane catch. And how it has happened was, I think, simply the brand that we've developed as Slab Sharks and the marketing presence that we have, especially with hockey cards and in Canada. People do take us as a very serious player in the auction house and consignment kind of area. And from what I understand, the consigner did speak to every other auction house, and he just literally felt more comfortable going with us. And I made some promises to him in terms of the way we were going to market this card. And I pretty much let him, know what our strategy was going to be. And he was extremely impressed by my pitch. And a lot of part of that pitch was the kind of personal nature of it all. The fact that we're going to take this extremely seriously, the fact that we are, a smaller Canadian business, and the fact that anything, that helps us, we truly do our best to then go and create a better product for everyone else. And I think when I first said that 3 years ago, it was more of a statement, new business, that's what they're going to say. But 3 years later, I think people have, now understood that what I say is what I mean. And we've truly, tried taking our business to the next level every single month. And that's just about treating our consigners really well, treating our buyers really well. And there's always going to be a little hiccups, but it's all about how much better can we be on a monthly basis. And he saw that, and showed him our new technology, which is that click and drag 360 video. I showed him, we have affiliates across the country, and I have, I'd say a little creative, marketing mind. So, I told him I think we're going to get all of our affiliates across the country to post a teaser graphic all at the same time on the same day, and it's going to reach thousands and thousands of people, which you guys were a part of with that Shield teaser that we had. And I think it was perfect timing. It was a lot of discussion about if it was the Cup 101. No one knew about the Ultimate 101 being out. So kind of a nice little mystery to the point where other auction companies thought we had the Cup RPA 101, and we were kind of coy about it all. And that was a part of our marketing strategy, was to, create this kind of pre-hype build-up. And then, we spent time with our developer on our website and app to ensure kind of this, historical moment for us, especially as a company, was, inundated in our website. And we made sure now that if you go to slabsharks.com, the Bedard card shows up. You're able to use that click and drag 360 feature. The portal and app has the card marketed. Doing my best on Facebook. Went to Fanatics Fest, spoken to a lot of high-end collectors that I know that are not in the sports or in the hockey card genre, and kind of let them know where hockey cards are going. There's a lot of strong data and sales that are happening in the last couple of months here. A lot of big cards are, being moved privately for some big dollars. So, and now you're starting to see that in auction as well. So did that kind of one-to-one sales pitches on the card. The consigner kind of enjoyed that strategy. He was about 4 hours away from Slab Sharks, and he thought it was a great place to do it. And he's extremely excited and already super happy about where it was. Our goal was $80,000 plus, so we're already at $77,000. So it's been good.
It's already the biggest Bedard sale that there is. And one of the things they say, if you win the lottery, that the first thing you should do is smash your phone into 1,000 pieces. And I kind of thought about that when I picture myself hitting a card like this, or the Shield 101, where a person like that must get a million people reaching out to them with offers at the same time. So I imagine it's very competitive for you to land this card. Right?
Oh, absolutely. So people believe it kind of just landed in our pocket. And it was taken to every big auction house, and he made a decision, an educated decision to go with us. It was very competitive, and we gave a great offer in terms of, we did pay some upfront cash as well to guarantee an auction price for the consigner. So it was an offer, that other parties maybe weren't willing to do for a card like this. We're experts in hockey cards. We're experts in the market. We're experts in, knowing our bidders and where they're going to land. So we're very comfortable doing things maybe other companies are not comfortable in doing. And we were certain that it made a lot more sense having this card auction in Canada, since you'll get all those Canadian bidders, and it's easy for American bidders as well. It's not too difficult. The other way around is a little bit difficult for Canadian buyers. So I thought it was a kind of a perfect thunderstorm.
Is this part of a strategy now for Slab Sharks to maybe go to the next level and to introduce some of these bigger cards, or is this just more of an opportunity that you decided to take advantage of? Like, have you guys been efforting to increase, get more of these hobby whales into your auctions?
Absolutely. So I'm sure you've noticed this year, our biggest kind of strategies going into this year was to curate our content as much as possible. And we believe that by bringing in the biggest cards, it helps our auction in totality. I've seen, I'm very in check on the pulse of the hobby and the market and the comments and what's going on. Some people are saying, skip your Bedard card for next week's auction after this ultimate auction because all the attention is on the ultimate. And that sentiment is just so incorrect because we have the data and we can actually see that we're getting way more traffic and way more bids on the rest of our cards due to this Bedard Ultimate being up. All it does is drive attention to the entire auction. So people are clicking on slabsharks.com. The Bedard shows up and they click into our auction. They start scrolling and looking at other things and start bidding on other things. So we have noticed the trend that higher end cards and having bigger cards in an auction actually results in more bidding for even the lower valued stuff. So I think it's extremely important to keep curating bigger cards, and that's what we've done. So we had the Ovechkin out of 8 Young Guns last week, and we offer some pretty decent offerings to get those sort of cards. And everyone that kind of has dealt with us will know that if you have an extremely big card, we're willing to work with you guys. So. Don't be shy and reach out, and we're very personable, so you can let us know what you have, and we'll let you know what our best offer is for those extremely big. I usually say $10,000 plus type cards. And the other front was, looking at other genres and building out and rounding out our auctions to being more than just hockey. So being focused on a lot of Pokemon as well. We've done about 3-4x more Pokemon than last year. And then now our next strategy is to start a new auction day. Apart from Thursday night auctions, we might have a hockey specific day and a Pokemon specific day and other sports specific days. So that's kind of the next steps here.
Wow. Is this something that you get eBay Canada involved with too? Because it's a big deal for them, not just Slab Sharks. So were they involved in this process?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the first step I took was how can I leverage my network that I've helped out in the past, and this is kind of a way to bring in a favor. So whether that be eBay or even just high end buyers and sellers that I know in the space, to just market, repost, and share our story, our Bedard card on their socials. That happened extremely quickly, so we were able to get this out there really quickly. And then on the eBay front, I called them. I let them know pretty much what we have here and what needs to be done. And obviously, we've done a lot for eBay. eBay's done a lot for us, so they took it very seriously as well. We actually had an eBay head come into the office today to confirm some things for a marketing kind of program we're doing in the next couple of days here with them. They'll be sharing, that teaser video on the actual eBay, Instagram socials. So that'll be, pretty huge for us. They're speaking to news networks to get a little bit out there post auction, so that'll help us out for the future deals. We have something happening with the Toronto Sun. This auction is actually highlighted in the U.S. marquee auction that's going on eBay U.S. right now. It's the eBay marquee auction is for high-valued cards in the United States. The Bedard card is in that auction, and it's actually the highest valued card right now with the highest bid. So it's doing really well because of that. And soon we'll have the Bedard card on the eBay.ca banner as well. Once you log into eBay.ca, it's going to be on the homepage there. So yeah, lots of help from our partners and lots of help from kind of just people that I know.
Now, with an auction like this, like one of the things that I'm assuming is a key priority is sort of keeping the riffraff out of the way, and I assume that that's like a big focus to some jabroni, as we call him, comes in and says, "Oh, I'm going to bid $400,000 on this card." Is that something you guys are watching like a hawk right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I just we just deleted a bid actually 20 minutes ago. It was a user that we check every user. So one thing people kind of assume is low feedback equals bad quality, high feedback equals good quality. That's actually not exactly how it works. There's a guy with 5 feedback that's bidding on the card, and he's provided proof of income. He's provided a driver's license. He's confirmed his intention to bid, and he only has 5 feedback. So we let him stay there. And then there's a guy that has 60 feedback that we look into his account, and there's 3 non-payment feedbacks that people have left for him. So for someone like that, we just automatically delete the bid. We don't even care at that point if you're legit for this card. If you're not paying on eBay, you're doing it multiple times like that, you're most likely not looking to pay for this item, and we want to make sure that each thing is legitimate here.
Well, that's actually an interesting point, because you can make the argument that the buying pool for this card, that those are maybe not the people that are buying $30 cards weekly on eBay and racking up 600 feedback scores and so it is interesting, and I suppose it makes sense that you're going literally almost bidder by bidder on this card, making sure that the integrity of the auction. It stinks we live in a world where you have to do that, but right, we were given this world, we didn't make it, so I suppose that's what you have to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've had a bidder that hasn't, or a potential bidder that hasn't bid yet, and he's mentioned that he has statements from other auction houses to prove that he's bought big cards before, and he has low feedback, and he says he's not typically an eBay user, and he's looking to bid on this card and win it. So definitely low feedback obviously has its place in determining a legit bid or not, but I always say it's not the be all end all for sure.
Mm-hmm. Are there other like common eBay misconceptions that, because you guys have such a unique vantage point where you get to see a huge amount of data, you get to see a lot of the back end, are there other things that come to mind that maybe misconceptions people might have?
There's a few. I would say one, it's not the consignment company shilling, it's the owners of the cards. Is usually what we catch. We've had to block a few guys from consigning ever again due to the fact that they're shilling on their own cards. Number 2, let me think of one. Yeah, I would say that one's a big one. What other misconceptions are there?
Well, I think one of them was what you're addressing with this listing, is that eBay is great if the cards like the rule of thumb I had heard was less than 20,000, and if it's over 20,000, then you go to Heritage or whatever company like that.
Yeah, that's an important one as well. I think what we're trying to do is change the eBay landscape with that. And there's, consignment companies in the States that have helped push that envelope as well. MC Sports Cards, who's a good friend of ours, he's really pushed, a premier auction for, cards over $5,000 in value. And that's something what we want to bring to the table in Canada. And I think eBay is kind of now assessing, like they want to become like everyone's, marketplace, which is a good thing to be. But also you want to be a place to be a high-end auction place. You want to be, committed to getting the grails. And as collectibles start getting, more expensive, more valuable, you don't want to miss that piece of the pie. So eBay has helped us a lot as well in kind of retooling to ensure that we're able to, auction off these big cards. But definitely you're starting to see eBay's threshold grow and grow. It typically used to be, anything under $50,000 is fine on eBay. Everything over $50,000, you might want to go to an auction house. But I think now what you're starting to see with, so much market saturation, so many auction houses, so many places to go, eBay's used to be kind of the place where it's, you get lost in the cluster, but now it's actually the most, refined. You can actually Google the most watched items. You can, filter out the data. There's marquee auctions. You can, find your favorite stores, your consignment shops now. So you just save those and you go to those guys on a weekly basis. Like for Slab Sharks, our buyers and our consigners know every Thursday we have an app. You log in and you just look at our eBay app on every Thursday. It's all there focused for you on a weekly basis, curated. And that's what is required for, high-end cards. So we've achieved that. And those marketplaces that used to be just for high-value cards are now actually selling thousands and thousands of low-value cards too. So you're actually losing the focus on the other auction companies, and you're starting to gain focus on the eBay marketplace. So I think it's kind of a good recipe for success there.
Somebody told me this, and I'm curious if it's true. I think it's true. Is Slab Sharks the largest seller on eBay Canada of any company?
Oh yeah. We are the largest.
That's a yes.
Largest seller. Yeah, that's we're the largest seller by quite a bit right now. So. We don't want to get complacent and uncomfortable with or get comfortable with that idea. We want to keep pushing. We're selling lots of cards on a weekly basis. It's pretty. I think that's another misconception of an eBay business is how hard it is, how difficult it is to ship 5,000 items on a weekly basis by a certain deadline. We get messages. Our auctions end on Thursday night, and we get messages Friday morning sometimes. So why hasn't
where's my card?
Yeah, it happens like more often than you would think, and I just gotta like cool down and let the guys calmly just be like, they'll be shipped out in the next 3 to 5 business days. But sometimes you just want to say, hey, we're not Amazon here. We can't do Prime Day shipping, 1-day shipping. But we're striving to get there. We want to be quicker. So that's why we do invest in technology. We spend hundreds of dollars just to save 5 seconds sometimes. We add all the seconds and everything counts, and we want to make it as efficient as possible. And we are building to get to a point where we can sell 10, 15,000 items per week. And I think the other misconception is that the Canadian marketplace can't handle it. We're still only, a fifth to a tenth of the amount of cards selling than the United States on a daily basis, even less. So our 1-day auction is in totality like way less than how much sells on a daily basis in America. And I think to go get back to that first point I was making is that by creating this data in Canada, especially for hockey cards, what you're going to see long term is actually more interest, and you're going to see more of a chance of this hobby blowing up and popping for everyone.
I thought of a Slab Shark specific misconception that you actually, I think, maybe told me in private the reason before, but I think would really benefit others because there has been. So what I've heard about Slab Sharks is, well, I'm in Canada and I can ship you a card for $7. Why does
Mm.
Slab Sharks charge 12?
Mhm. Yeah, so that's a huge one. So number one, we ship across the country, right? So we ship to none of Yukon, and there are buyers in the Yukon. We ship to rural areas. So while like a Toronto to Toronto base shipment can be $8 tracked, we do signature on items over $700. We insure everything. So if your package gets lost and doesn't have the term delivered on the tracking number, we refund you right away. There's no waiting for an insurance claim. We do that on the back end. You're refunded right away. No issues, no problems whatsoever. We have 7 full-time shippers that are shipping your packages. Everything is tracked at all times. We have a custom box that's a Slab Sharks box to protect your cards. That the shipping costs also blend into boxes for memorabilia, frames. Those boxes cost $30 each. People don't, I don't think, realize how much supplies cost. Bubble wrap is extremely expensive for some reason as well.
Did you tell me too, though, Karn, that like you're like not even legally allowed to like plain white envelope something through Canada?
Yes. So letter mail. So in terms of people asking why don't we ship with letter mail, we're not allowed to ship with letter mail. When we first started and we were smaller, we did ship letter mail, and it got to the point where we were going to the post office and hand stamping each package or each letter mail, putting it into the mailbox, up to a point where we started getting the return to sender because there's too many coming that way, and we said that we actually can't ship a graded card or something that's plastic or anything of that nature, and they stopped actually accepting stamped mail from us. And we had to make the quick decision to go to track shipping only. And we want to get back to a period where we can sell cheaper cards. That's what we're scaling for. We still do, and that's up to a consignor if they still want to sell it with us. They have a batch of 600 cards. They want to let all of them go. They're not too worried about, a $6 or $8 card sneaking through. And I completely understand how, frustrating or annoying it could be that it's track shipping. But there is no ecosystem in Canada that allows us to efficiently process letter mail. It's not allowed. And number two, there's no online label creation, which the US has, which we would love. So we've spoken to Canada Post about that. Obviously, there's Canada Post is going through their own problems right now, and they actually want to get rid of letter mail in general. So I think we're actually all going to go towards parcel shipping. So hopefully they can just make it a lot cheaper to send tracked. I think that's the real solution. But we are trying our best to get there. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just funny. Like, and this happens in the US too. It's like you're sent, I know it's government owned, but the post office is a government owned business, and you're sending them too much business. So like, stop. You can no longer do business.
Exactly. And the grams too, right? Like there's a weight restriction on letter mail. So some, would want like 12 cards, for example. Now you've paid $2.95 for it, and the post office returns it to sender. Now the buyer's upset. Now we have to ship it back to them tracked, and it costs $10. There's no efficient process to now charge them extra on eBay. They would have to like PayPal us the extra or EMT transfer us. So it just didn't make sense. And there are a couple of shipping portal and label logistics on the eBay end that don't make sense right now that we're trying to figure out as well. There should be dynamic shipping as well on eBay. Like, for example, we have to consider and be psychics when it comes to applying a certain shipping price to a certain card. So, for example, like this Bedard Ultimate Shield 101, absolutely, it's a $100K card. The shipping is going to be more. It's going to be $150, or within Canada, it's going to be $250 to the US, because we got to figure it out. We're going to take a loss on that shipping too. We're going to insure it, or we might fly it out. Whatever the situation is, it's going to cost a lot more than $250. But the point is, we don't know what the cards are going to end for. And we got to apply different shipping rates to cards that end for lower and cheaper. If a point comes where Canada Post does have a new revamped label post system for letter mail packages, and they allow sports cards and trading cards to go through it, that would be a situation where we would need to filter out, okay, this card ended for $5. The shipping should cost $3 for this, not $12, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that kind of retooling is needed as well. And going through 5,000 cards, it's a task. Like, you can't manually go through each card and say, oh, this card's a 1986 base card. It's a $3 package. This one's a $12 package. That's not how it works. It works in a bulk sense, and it's hard to kind of figure each one out. So I kind of just try to let everyone know we truly are trying our best. But some things seem easy, but it's actually like very much hard to do. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's part of the reason why we appreciate you guys and have partnered with you on the US side, is that we definitely see the amount of attention and care that you put into, and it's not lip service. It's just, we see it every day now, especially that we're partners. You've made a lot of great decisions, and then you partnered with us three boneheads. So, I don't know what your business partners say about that, but it is true. And that's important to us, right? Because we want to make sure that the collector is always taken care of. And what I'm also just like, as like a person that has been in new product development and helped been the part of new companies that have developed, is how much you've been able to differentiate beyond just like a consigner, like has felt like I think to me like a commodity at times, where it's like they all just do the same thing, right? But you guys seem to be pushing, on the technology side, on the data side, with your app, offering now data and insight that even eBay doesn't offer on the auctions, and really separating yourselves from other companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of where our mandate from the start has always been. Our kind of mission statement was always to push the envelope. Even the way we do things internally, we continuously push. We are extremely focused on our back end systems right now, and even those they have trickle down effects on the forefront of our company. For example, we now have remote titling, so we have people across the country titling cards for us. Before, it used to be just in-house. You had to have the cards physically on hand. So that's actually 2x, 3x our ability to scale and the number of cards we can get. And that has, effect on, on the buying side as well. But we're going to switch over to the buyer side of things and consignor side of things again this summer. And we have a lot of cool features and tools and things that are going to come into play soon into our app. Like, people have been waiting a long time for our merch store. It's ready. It's just we've been so busy. We haven't been able to upload, what's in our merch store and things of that nature. But it's ready to go. But even things like shark coins and interactive features that make things fun. How cool would it be if you get rewarded for watching our auctions? If you're on the app and you're looking through our auctions and you get an app notification that you've won a box of Series 2 Upper Deck because you were just watching the auction. Things like that. Those are the ideas we come up with that we think are going to, really engage. Can we enter? Yeah, we watch 3 hours every Thursday night. If you're not busy, yeah, for sure. But those are the type of things we're looking to do that, are difference makers in our opinion. Think about it. If you're a consigner, you want more people to be on your app, looking at the auction. How do you get people to look at the auction? You got to do cool things. And those are the type of ways that we think we can be difference makers. And there's small things as well, like our photos. We're trying to, if you look at our transition of our photos through time, they keep getting better and better and better. The way we do our wax right now is kind of where we want to get to with our singles. It just takes time to get there. So we just pushed eBay to approve the ability to post our 360 video on the Ultimate Bedard.
Oh, sick. Nice.
So now you can actually see a video going 360.
Presentation, man. You got to stage the house to sell it, right?
Yeah, presentation extremely important. And those things only happen if you, I say this all the time, it only happens if you don't care about the profit. You can only do it if you literally spend all of your money that you make on building stuff. This stuff is expensive. It's extremely expensive. We have, 14 staff members now, and we have, an app development. We have, a booth presence. We kind of wanted to check mark a few different things. Soon we're going to have, AI in our back end. AI is a buzzword, but AI as a data analysis tool is, going to be transcendent when it comes to us being able to decipher hotspots where consignments are coming from, for example. What shows should we attend? Which areas are not serviced? For example, what if we have a lot of packages being shipped from this small city in Alberta, but we have no one there. We have no shows. We're not attending the shows there, even though there are shows. And we can get that information from AI and scraping through our data. So those are the type of things that we're looking into to kind of decipher how to service more consigners and how to service, more buyers.
Nice. Another thing too that, I think most people understand when it comes to Slab Sharks or other consignment services, like kind of like the basic stuff, right? Where the premise, which we're all kind of lazy, right? I mean, none of us listing cards on eBay, I don't think it's fun. I've never met a person that says, "Oh, I get to go home and list 50 cards on eBay tonight," right? That's feels weird, but maybe Phil. And so I think most people get the notion of, okay, you're going to take the photos, you're going to take good photos, you're going to do all the listings and all that. But I think what a lot of people don't understand in particular about your business is how much peace of mind that you give people on the worst part of auctions. It's the after the sale happens and 3 weeks later, somebody comes back with an issue or complaint or wants a refund, and you guys just take that, right? And you just handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's if we were to share the data of how many random refunds and returns and things that we do to keep the process smooth, people would definitely understand why you should use us as your place to sell things. And I always see I've seen people that don't want to use us before. Months later have a complaint on their eBay package gone missing, and now the buyer gets their money back and they're on the hook. And in my head, I'm just like, that's why you use Slab Sharks, right? Because we would handle it all for you, and we do it in a way that's reasonable and fair for all parties. And we know how to look into people that are trying to scam us. That definitely happens as well. There's definitely people that are unreasonable with us, but most people are reasonable. So, that's another eBay misconception I think we have as well, is thinking that we purposely want to send a card that has a little crease on it, for example. We have to move efficiently, and we're going through 5,000 cards. It's hard to mark every defect on each card as much as we want to. We really do want to. In a perfect world, it would be automated and automatic, but it's not. And unfortunately, it happens. And it happens a lot for vintage cards, for example. It happens a lot with complete sets. For example, you have a 600 card set. We believe the consignor that it's a full set. We can't sit there and count all 600 cards. You know, it's hard to do. And maybe we ship it out and card number 586 is missing. Now all of a sudden we've sold an item that's misleading. It's not a complete set. There's one card missing. That happens pretty commonly, to the point where we're like, should we even take complete sets anymore? But we, as of right now, just, reimburse the buyer, and the consignor never has to deal with it. And I think it's a good thing. And as long as people don't take advantage of us, it's something that we'll continue doing.
That process filters out the customers you don't want, right, Karn? Like I have a business too, not in cards. I try to solve a lot of problems, but a lot of people give me problems to my solutions in any, and I'm sure that happens in any type of business. That's fine. Don't come back. Go with somebody else. So somebody else can get the problem customer. Do you really want a customer that's going to be belligerent because one card's missing out of 600? I'm sure we've known each other. You're going to solve that problem for that customer, no matter what. I know you are 100%. The customer most likely will be reasonable. It's the unreasonable ones that I stick in our minds, I guess, right? But at least by this process, you're doing everything you can above board and above and beyond. I kind of like the process. It filters out the jerks. You know what I mean? There's jerks everywhere. You don't want them in bidding on your cards anyways, and they're half of the problems, I'm sure, is these people. So
yeah, I agree. There's two perspectives to that, right? At the same time, you didn't send the complete set, right? So
yeah, that part sucks,
right?
Yeah,
so
sucks.
Like you want to ensure that that you're in the wrong there. You definitely didn't fulfill the actual sale. So you want to try your best to get them to where they need to be. You kind of just like ingrained that in law. Like I went through law school, was about to, have a law career. It was very short-lived because of Slab Sharks.
Services weren't rendered. That's what's bothering you, right? The service
about,
was not rendered properly.
Yeah, it's all about getting people in the same position they would have been if the situation didn't happen.
Yeah.
For us, the reasonability versus reasonableness, it's a line between, okay, if the card missing was $2 and we give you $10, and that's enough to go get the card back and make money on it, that's a fair solution, right? So we expect, a reasonable person to be like, hey, that's fair. That's like, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But for example, there was a case 2 weeks ago where a $2 card was missing in an order. And the buyer was a big Lemieux collector. I don't want to say too much to, dox him or anything, but he's a big Lemieux collector. It's a base card. We definitely messed up and sent the card elsewhere by mistake. And I acknowledge that. And what we did was we refunded the guy $26, right? So a $2 card, $26 refund. 13. The card was available on eBay to purchase for $6. So for us, it's like, okay, you can go and buy this card, and you made another $23. The response should be like, okay, that's fair. Thank you for helping us. But what ended up actually happening was, no, I want my Lemieux card. I didn't get it. I'm going to give you a negative feedback for every purchase I've ever made with you guys. So we ended up getting 13 negative feedbacks over a $2 card that we definitely forgot to send, or actually just accidentally one of our shippers sent elsewhere, that we paid 15x the value back to the guy as a refund, and still got 13 negative feedback.
Yeah, that's what I'm. So that's unreasonable.
So those are the situations where like, okay, those are tough. Those are tough, but they're rare. Well, we can handle it. We're big boys, but at the same time, the sell is, I'm getting the wrinkles. Slab Sharks is getting the wrinkles. You don't have to. So we'll deal with it for you, and you'll be fine.
Well, I think as long as companies have human beings involved, there's going to be issues and imperfections and mess ups, right? I mean, human beings are imperfect and it's impossible, but the measure or the line I think between good companies and bad companies are good companies own their mistakes and make it right. And I was in the corporate world for 25 years and ran sales teams as part of my job. And what I learned is actually when you make a mistake, it's a massive opportunity to make a customer for life. Right? Because if you jump on it and you address it and you make the situation right, then people love you and they give you your business forever. So I think that you guys have been very smart in that regard. And now I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about sort of our partnership. And, like one of the things that we started talking about a number of months ago is as Louis and I, we like hockey cards. We happen to live in the United States where there are none.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well, there's
not as
some.
many.
There's some.
There's some, and especially where we've been buyers on Slab Sharks for 3 years now. The selling part has kind of been an issue because it's no fun. It's as little fun as it is to list your cards on eBay. It's a million times worse trying to send cards to Canada from here. I've said it before. If I'm just make a sale on some other app or platform and somebody buys a card in Canada, I have to go to the post office, wait in line for 15 minutes, get a customs declaration form. Then they say, go fill it out over there and get back in line for 15 minutes. And then it's $17 for me to ship a card to Winnipeg, which is $6, which is 6 hours away by car. And I can ship a card to Honolulu halfway around the world for $4. Right? It makes no sense, right? And it's awful, the whole process. And so, as we were talking about, it's like, here we have, you've built this business in Canada in the market where you want to sell hockey cards. It's the largest seller on eBay Canada. It's the largest hockey auction each week. And, we're a little more spread out here, but there's a lot of people in America. Right. And so as a percentage, we're a lot less, but there's a lot of hockey card collectors that can't easily use or efficiently use the best hockey auction there is. So how can we work together to solve that? And and that's what we announced a month or 5 weeks ago. And we've been just starting out. And so, and I think those are kind of the best partnerships where, this is a problem that Louis and I have. It's not just an opportunity. It's like, I can, realistically, I can only list cards if I brought them to Canada and on the expo and dropped them off at your booth while I was there. And so we're really, really excited about, making this service accessible for Americans. And, it'd be interesting to see where it goes. And so far, so good, right? A lot of people are already jumping on. So I hope that you're just as excited as us about maybe what the potential is now that Slab Sharks is available to more Americans.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was kind of the number one, I think, pain point we had when it came to an expansion was we had a lot of people in the United States that were extremely, excited about Slab Sharks auctions, but didn't really have a way to consign with us. And we had, some instructions on how to send to us without, having delays and issues. But still, a lot of people are, concerned about cross-border shipping. So it's extremely important to have, guys like yourselves that are, just integral to the hockey card community in the United States to help with the logistics of it all and making sure there's a comfortable avenue for American consigners to get their cards into Slab Sharks auctions. And for me, this is kind of a phase one out of, like a 5-phase plan. We want to ensure that it gets better and better. We're learning through it. I think we're on week 3 and we've already gotten tons of consignments. There's been, a couple of hiccups as well. That's something that happens through, just starting a new thing. And those hiccups are, solvable things like, ensuring, we have the proper process to make sure cards get delivered here on time. So they go into the same week's auction rather than next week's auction. So, fine tuning the days we ship out, or on our end, we forgot to put that it was USPS only on the website, and it's a PO box address, so it doesn't accept FedEx and UPS. Those are things that you kind of go and learn as we go. So yeah, as of right now, it's USPS only to the PO box, but maybe we open it up to FedEx and UPS packages soon too. And we move into the next phase. We start having it on the app, where you can be a US customer and it automatically directs to your address. And there's a lot of other things we can do. I think actually final phase, this is something we're in development and the works of happening, is potentially, you guys scan cards there and it lists automatically onto the Slab Sharks platform.
Whoa!
Yep.
So the cards don't actually have to leave the United States at all. And we can kind of figure it out, the logistics of that. So we are, developing a kind of stream and process where we can actually ship out to our affiliates across the country a product that we're partnered with, and breakers, for example, if they hit big cards on release date, this product will be embedded into our auctions, and they'll just be able to take a picture of the card, and it automatically goes into our back end, and we list the item. So right on release date, for example. So those are the kind of like things that we think about to make this easier, better, faster, and innovative for everyone. So those are all things for the United States as well. We're really focused on, and you guys are, I think, the perfect partners for us to get there.
Awesome. Yeah, we're very excited about it. And if you are a U.S. hockey card collector and you want to list your cards in the biggest weekly hockey auction there's a link in the description where you can, it's a very easy process. Slab Sharks has designed a great and simple to use process. And then reach out if you have any questions. We're happy to answer anyone's there. Well, congratulations on your success. It's pretty incredible to see what you guys have done in 3 short years. And the whole hockey world will be watching this Bedard card, and it's off to an amazing start already, and it's fun. That's the other thing too, right? It's when you have listings like this, and we all get to work in a industry that we get to look at amazing hockey cards all day. What's better than that, right?
Absolutely. And I think a number one thing I want to also share is as more people support this United States endeavor and use you guys, our commitment as Slab Sharks is we're gonna 100% any of the profits that we receive from this new revenue channel, we're gonna build out something that's easier and better for you guys as a tool.
Nice.
Hockey Card Gongshow, which will then help your consigners have a more streamlined service as well. Whether that be on the payment side of things, there's a lot of things we can do there to make it better, whether it be ease of just consigning, just logistics, making it faster, and tools for you guys to just see, packages that are coming in, the ability to see it all in real time in a, area that's easy to see as a dashboard in one space. So you don't have to, look at each FedEx tracking number every single time. So those are all small things we can do to make it an easier experience for you, a Hockey Card Gongshow, which then makes it easier for you to market the product to consigners in the United States, which then, brings more consignments in. So those are all things we'll 100% do as we continue this partnership.
Well, that's exciting. And again, congratulations. Go check out the Bedard card. Go look at the amazing 360 video that you guys have innovated and pushed eBay to up their game a little bit on. And, we'll see where like you said, the hockey's biggest eBay auction ever. It's Karn Rai from Slab Sharks. We'll chat with you soon, bud.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us on the show, or having me on the show.
Bye-bye.
Later, man.
Well, that was good. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. He has potato internet in his office, and he was feeling. So if you notice, right, it was kind of like a kung fu movie at the end, right, where his the audio and video were probably a little out of sync, but I think everyone could hear it all right. So that's good. And a lot of great information. It's pretty impressive what, and it's not just Karn. He's got, I think, 5 other partners there, what those guys have done in just a few years, huh?
Yeah, to put them, moving their way, if not, close to that forefront now, and he wasn't shy to say, the guy checked out everybody else to see who he was going to send his card into. And, Karn nailed it for the guy. And I'm happy for them, obviously, because we work with them, but I think it's awesome for Canada.
It's nice to see. It's nice to see someone we partnered up with be so motivated for their business that we've partnered up with. It's nice to witness, and he cares. Nothing but blood, sweat, and tears into that, and a lot behind the scenes, right? No one sees it, but we've been seeing it a bit more, and his full heart and motivations into getting cards like that, put Slab Sharks on the map. Just doing it.
Yeah, it's crazy how many bids there are already too. So it'll be fun to see where that one. We'll have a fun Thursday night show watching that one tick down to 0, right?
Yeah.
From Karn Rai, we're gonna talk about the draft. The 2025 NHL Entry Draft is tomorrow night. Who knows? Maybe a couple big Series 2 young guns for 25-26 will end up getting selected by your favorite team tomorrow. We were totally late to the game, and until about 6 days ago, forgot about the draft.
Maybe 7.
Maybe 7. So we had to send out the bat signal and find a friend of the show, Russ Cohen, who is an NHL writer, draft expert, radio personality, podcaster. Seems like does it all. Russ had a ton of good information for us, and I think you'll find very entertaining and useful. And we hope you enjoy our conversation with Russ Cohen. We are pleased to welcome back to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, NHL draft expert Russ Cohen from NHL Draft Buzz, Sportsology, SiriusXM Radio. Basically anywhere they talk about the draft, you'll find Russ. How's it going, Russ?
Good. How you doing, Josh and Phil and Baba Louie, but not Baba Booey. So that's good.
Baba Louie, he's our own version. He's Peter. Well, right before we recorded, I mentioned this is a busy week for you. What's draft week for a draft guy like yourself?
That's crazy. I mean, I already today, like the Flyers made a trade, right? So I do a daily show called Locked On Flyers. So I had to do a live report on that. And we did a whole show on that Trevor Zegras trade. So there was that. I was preparing for a mock draft that we're going to do 2 hours tomorrow on SiriusXM on Mick's show live from 11 to 1, which is insanity. It's really so just Shane Malloy and myself could yell at each other. And then, I mean, I'm working on a 1,000-word article on Brady Peddle. I got one more article to hand in to Elite Prospects. I did work on the draft guide. Then I'm done with that. Then I just have to kind of pack and go. But I'm putting up a giant umbrella in my yard. So like this whole week is just crazy.
Bonkers.
Crazy. Okay, you mentioned the Zegras trade, and we were actually talking about him on our Monday podcast, where we named him one of the top 5 biggest hobby busts in the past 5 years. So what do you think about the whole trade?
Well, I mean, this could revive him. I mean, I don't think he'll ever reach the heights of what the hype was, but he's a really good offensive player. So, I mean, if he comes up with like a 65-point year, I think the hobby interest will be there again because the Flyers are a big market. So I think people will keep an eye on that, because I think if you held on to his rookie card, you might as well just keep holding on to it, because at least now he's got a second chance.
He needed this. He needed a fresh.
Yeah, he did. Joe Quenneville probably didn't want to use him. And so, Anaheim got what they could, and Philly they're in a position to be able to use him a lot and really see what he can do.
Pretty low risk from the Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. Standpoint. From an asset standpoint. Yeah. It's very low risk.
Can you, I just got to ask it because it's funny, but this would have never happened if Torts was still the coach, huh?
No. And I think that's probably why, like, they had conversations and they stalled, because we've been hearing about this for 2 years. We kind of gave up on it in this market. So yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Well, we got to talk about the draft, which is on Friday, of course. And you're going to be there in LA.
Yes, I'll be there in LA. I think it's the Fox Theater, and yeah, time difference. Instead of it being like at 7, it's like 4:00 on the West Coast. So, and then the second day, it's very unforgiving. It's like 8 a.m. but at least it's 8 a.m. on the West Coast, so it's more like 11. But yeah, so it's fun though. I love the draft.
Why didn't they just do it in Vegas again? It seemed like that was epic last year. Like all the
Well, don't
feedback we got.
never
was
say
all in.
never, because next year, I have a feeling it could go to Vegas. So
Oh,
you
okay.
you never know. So and if they do, they might be talking about having everything there, like everything, even the opening a free agency, and include the card show and all that. It wouldn't shock me if it was all in one area. Myself and Shane Malloy, we used to have a business of hockey show years ago on Sirius, and we brought that up. Like, it was Shane's idea, and we kept building on it. And I was like, yeah, you could have the card show there, you could have everything there all in the same week. It would make sense. It would be like a gigantic hockey convention at the end of the season. So I wouldn't say no to that yet. I think there's a chance.
Well, they have the dome now, right? That's the big meeting
The
spot.
Sphere.
The Sphere.
The Sphere, yeah, but they wouldn't do it in there again. It was very
Oh,
expensive.
okay.
The Sphere is really expensive to rent out. So it was tremendous. Like, it was an unbelievable place to just see it, experience it. I think the
Yeah.
players loved it. Logistically, there were some issues, like as far as getting to the players from the Sphere when they went upstairs for interviews. But, as a one-off, it was great. I don't think they would go back there, though.
I think kind of what you're talking about, though, would be very similar to the NBA Summer League, where now I haven't heard of any sort of summer competition, but it's sort of become the highlight of the off season in the basketball world.
Yeah, in the
right?
sense that it's like a hub for everything. Yeah, I think, there won't be any competition going on, but everything else would hold true.
Mhm. Okay, let's look big picture. Start with the draft before we get into our favorite players we want to learn more about.
Yeah.
This rookie class, how does it stack up over the past, classes of the past 5-10 years?
I mean, it's not as good as last year's. These doesn't mean they're not going to be really good players. They'll be really good players, but Macklin Celebrini is a cut above. He's as close as you get to Sidney Crosby. So it's not as good as that, and it's probably not as good as anything in the last 5 years. But again, with the way players train now and everything else, even after their draft years, there's always surprises. So there's always going to be guys that seemingly come out of nowhere. I almost never say somebody comes out of nowhere, because chances are I've heard of them in some way, even if I hadn't put a lot of work into checking them out. But I think you've got some stars here. I don't think there's anybody generational. I don't think Matthew Schaefer is generational. People could say that just because he's the first overall pick, but I don't believe it. And I don't think it's fair to put a tag on it like that on a guy. Like, there's very few generational players in the NHL. You know it when you see it. And sometimes you don't know it right away. Like, sometimes it takes a few years. So, but I there's strength in it. The top 5 will be really good. The top 10 will be good. After that, it drops down a tier. Then, you go to 15. And then after that, it definitely drops down as far as, like, all these guys will make the NHL, but will they make it for 200 games? I don't know. Will they be some that don't make it? Probably in this one, yeah. Will there be, some that are just kind of call-ups? Yeah, probably. It's not going to be like 2003. When I covered that one, it was early in my career. It was bonkers. And we're still talking about players still from that 2003 draft. Some had just retired, like Patrice Bergeron, but like even he was – right. Yeah, right. Marc-Andre Fleury, they traded up. Pittsburgh did to get him. So that was, there was a lot going on. That was just a unbelievable class, the best I've ever covered, and maybe the best in the last 30 years.
2020 was 2020 shaping up to be pretty good too, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty
Not
good.
Like 2003, but
no, it's pretty good. I mean, there's some other good years too. The McDavid draft was really good, but 2020, considering it was a pandemic, I think it probably turned out better than we thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you this about Matthew Schaefer. So I like hockey cards. I'm more worried about who's the rookie now, and I don't study the draft much. And when I started to hear the name Matthew Schaefer, and especially ahead of Michael Misa, who in the hobby landscape has been kind of the most recognizable name in this draft year for a while now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's check this guy out. And then just looking at the stats, which is basically what I do, I see, well, he played like 17 games last year and didn't play the year before. So help me understand why this guy is, what is it about him that despite he's been hurt? And
yeah, he got hurt this past year. He did play in the World Juniors for a couple of games. I mean, the question I would ask you is, because they're now going back to his 15-year season and talking about that, and the Holinka, and they were all really good. But a year ago, were you hearing about Matthew Schaefer? And the answer is probably no, because you were hearing about James Higgins. So
Yeah.
I think he's really good. I think he'll be a top pairing defenseman. He's an offensive defenseman. He's a great skater. He's got a high hockey IQ. He's got a really tough story between his mom and his billet mom. If you look it up, it's not, great. So he's had to overcome a lot in his young life. And so he's a quality guy. And so I think, would James Higgins be the better story? It would. If I owned the Islanders, I would take him, not because he's from Long Island, because I think he's the best guy in the draft. But I like Matthew Schaefer. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
why
wouldn't even
Higgins. Why has he slipped? Was it just his production?
I mean, his production was a
college?
point a game in as a freshman in college hockey. Like, go back and look at other NTDP players that played their freshman year in college hockey. Matthew Boldy was in a point a game. Nobody bitched about that. So it's just a matter. Huh?
He has the single tournament point record. Doesn't James Hagan have that? The single he holds the record for the most single tournament points in history. I believe he passed Kucherov.
Maybe he may have, but he also, in the Big East final game, he scored a goal to bring his team back. He scored a game winner to move on to the next round. And then BC was kind of disappointing. I grant you that. They won a gold medal. I covered that in the World Juniors. I think he had 9 points in 6 games, but people would be like, well, he scored 4 points against that team, but he still scored a big goal in that tournament when it mattered in the end and helped bring a gold medal. I think people just decided that because he was under 6 feet and because they were watching him for 2 years, that he didn't wow them enough to keep talking about him. But, teams don't give up on guys like that so easy. And so, like, the same as we saw Lane Hudson develop over a summer, Higgins came into the combine 5'11", 185. So, like, nobody should say that he's Jack Hughes, because Jack Hughes is a super high skilled guy, but he does get hurt a lot. Higgins doesn't get hurt a lot, and he weighs 185, literally 30 pounds more than when Jack was a draft guy. So, it's a big difference, and I think Higgins should be a guy that the hobby talks about, and whether he goes, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think in short time people will be talking about him because he'll go back to BC for another year, and then I think he'll be in the NHL. So, again, if he were 6'1", I don't even think we'd be having the conversation. But hey, Schaefer's really good. I don't want to take away from him either.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Philly picks up Higgins. It's
there's
Boston
a good
might
chance.
snag him, but he'd be great in Philly, eh?
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Yeah.
I kind of think Boston may go for Brady Martin if he's there because they like that kind of player, and his offense isn't quite as high as like a Higgins or an O'Brien even, but he's really tough and he could still, and he's a fun guy to talk to, and he's a good team guy, and he's really strong and definitely plays that tough game, and he can score too, but he's not going to score at a high level. So I think
you think Boston's going to go for Brady Martin?
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance. Yeah, because I think they need to sort of reset at center. He's a really good center. It's just that, he's not going to be like a 90-point center. O'Brien could be that, but it's going to take Jake O'Brien.
The lovable, like Brady Martin seems to be like a sweet pick for a lot of people. He can't seem to do much wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really watch him, there's just I think a limitation in his offense, but there's no limitation in his aggression and the tough game that he plays, and the league covets that, and they'll tell you every year, well, this is why you win the Stanley Cup, and sometimes that's true. And sometimes it's not. Like everybody was saying, well, like Vegas, you got to copy Vegas. Well, not this year. Vegas didn't do anything this year. So, those things are kind of short-lived at times, but they do affect how the draft gets viewed as well.
Mm-hmm. We did a deep dive, which we do various hobby deep dives on our episodes. We did the one on Monday for the draft where we put out 4 of the top names and then let people vote which one they want to hear about. And Michael Misa ended up winning the vote. And again, it makes sense because he's kind of been the name,
he's a big name
in Canada for the last couple of years. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, I ranked him 4th because I don't know if he's a true center. I know he played center this year. I know he's going to say he's a center. There's a lot of guys that go into the draft and say they're a center. I always go back to Travis Konechny, who Phil will certainly know because he played for the 67s. And, he said he was a center in his draft year. And I said, I don't think he's a center. And I've watched him all these years in Philly, and he doesn't play center. And that's fine. And that happens. Misa has a chance to. And he's a terrific offensive talent. His two-way game has really come around. He's smart. He's fast. I think San Jose is going to grab him because they have some options. Like basically, Celebrini's the man. Like, no matter what,
Yeah.
he's the 1C. But then you have Will Smith, who they decided to put on a line with him, and he was really good. So if Will Smith is on a line with him and Misa can play center, then they're really set. If it's the other way around and Misa ends up being the wing and Smith ends up being a 2C, they're still in pretty good shape, right? Like, there's no downside there. So I think that's the way it might go. I do understand in the hobby that the Sharks have never been, except for a few guys, like really the
Yeah.
like
balloon.
I guess if you're doing like a case break or pack breaks, you're not really loving it if you get the Sharks generally. I think Celebrini will go a long way in changing that, but I get it. They're not always the favorite like the Canadians or the Rangers or those kinds of teams.
Do you think San Jose could surprise? Sorry, Louis. Do you think they could surprise and go for Higgins or Martin? Maybe.
I don't think they'll go for Higgins.
No.
I don't think they'll go for Martin. I think if they were to surprise, I think it would be either Frondell or Martone. Frondell is really well put together, and he's got a lot of offense, and he played, against men this year, so that helps. And then Martone is a power forward, and there's very few like top line power forward guys in this league. And if Greer decides that, hey, I've got these other guys, but we do kind of need a power forward in the fold, it wouldn't shock me, but I don't expect it to go that way. But I don't think Martone's going to last as long as other people think. I think he might go to Chicago.
Porter's a steelhead, right?
Yeah, Brandon Steelhead, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a follow-up on that? So still, I mean, we just had a $50,000 Connor Bedard sale last week, Monday night. A Bedard's Ultimate Shield 101 is going up for auction. That should go well into the six figures.
How long did that take to find? I remember there was
Not long.
not that long, no?
Oh, the Young Guns has not been found.
The Young Guns is what's not been found. I knew one of them.
Shield
Okay.
on
Okay. Yeah. Okay,
the
so
shield
but it's
patch.
the Young Gun that's still out there.
Yeah, has not surfaced to this point. But there's still so much hype around Bedard, and one of the reasons that's been used to explain kind of what happened last year, especially, is the team stinks around him. Who in this draft at around the level they'll be picking would be the best player for them to take to help Connor Bedard?
Okay, so I mean, Porter Martone is one of those names because in a couple years he could be that power forward to give him some extra space on the line, and then it wouldn't be all on him to create. I think he just had a sophomore slump. I do think he has to play a more complete game though, because they went through the first year without him essentially playing any defense at all, and I do think when they were sort of like getting him to play a little better in the second year, I think it took away from his game. So I think that part is going to have to be worked on. But I think Martone could be that guy. Frondell could be that guy because Frondell's a bigger guy. And then what if, like, Frondell, I think, is a true center. And then if he is a true center, maybe even turns into a top line center, then that would give Bedard the ability to go on the wing and score more points on the wing. So I think those two guys are two guys you could look at to really help them.
Okay, I have a Bedard follow-up. And just to harken back to a couple years ago,
back. Nobody uses that phrase anymore, so that's all right.
Josh is an old soul.
Yeah,
he is.
Still sits on a Davenport.
Yeah,
there we go.
In the foyer.
Foyer, yeah.
As I've tried to understand, like, what has gone on with Bedard and maybe why he's struggled a little bit, I went back and I looked at a lot of the scouting reports from around the time that he was drafted. And of course, many, many glowing things, right? They talk about his shot being ridiculous, his playmaking. But the one thing on the negative that seemed to be fairly common was there was real concerns about his skating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not an expert, but when I read is that that's kind of the thought is he has to get better at skating. So do you agree with that it was a legitimate concern? And in your, as you observe these guys, is that something that he can make a big jump in, or by the time you're 18, are you what you are when it comes to being a skater?
No. He can make a big jump. Like, Michael Misa went to Barb Underhill, and she's been working with NHLers for years with the figure skating, speed skating stuff. So I think Bedard can improve there. Like, the NHL is one of these leagues that you, as a young player, you have to improve in your skating every year for a number of years. to be able to really kind of keep up and keep playing that game that kind of got you there. So it's not unheard of. It's happened before. Cole Caulfield got a lot better. I mean, Cole Caulfield skating, if you go back and look at him like last year compared to his rookie year, it's a big improvement, and it's made a difference, on the scoreboard. So I think you'll see the similar thing with Bedard.
Well, that's good. That's because we need him. We need Bedard to work out.
I get it.
Hobby.
I wouldn't spend $50,000 on any card, honestly, but
I know.
But I get it. That's a house almost, like almost.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's a half
there's
house.
way crazier. There's way crazier. We
It's
have
a
a friend
half a
that
cheap
spent
house.
$130,000 on a card. What Jeremy get his shoe list for?
150, something
That's
like
150. Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
hobby, but I wouldn't do that. I'd be divorced too.
that. What are some other names that are first rounders that you think are interesting or people should kind of keep their eye on?
So some other names, Caleb Denoyer, Elliott plays for the Flyers. They certainly would like to get him, but I don't know if he'll be there, but he might. He plays in the queue. He's big and he's fast, and he's a really good centerman, one of the top centermen in the draft. So him, there's Victor Eklund, who's the brother of William Eklund, who plays for the Sharks, and he's better than him. So,
Really?
if you liked William Eklund's like 60-something point year last year, I think in a few years, his brother will beat that because I think he's faster and I think he's more elusive in the offensive zone.
A lot of Swedish collectors love. You could tell William Eklund had a ton of hype in Sweden when he came here because
he did.
There's a lot of big time collectors over there that PC him.
And I think Victor is starting to get that. Unfortunately, this draft is not good for Finns. So if there anybody wanting to collect Finns, this isn't the draft.
Okay.
Also, Roger McQueen's an interesting one because he's had this really bad history with the back. He says he's over it now. We'll see, because it's something I think that could.
He makes me nervous, man.
He's going to make teams nervous too. He's got a lot of offensive potential, and he's a big centerman. And I think like from a collectible standpoint, I would collect him because if his back really is 100% for the next 10 years, you're in great shape. He might miss some games every year, though. I think he's going to be one of those guys that sports science could really help, and you have to kind of know when to give him a day off every once in a while, do that extra stretching and all. I think if he does that, he'll be okay. Because Sean Aitchison's an interesting one because he's one of the few guys in this draft that really is like a big pain in the ass, intimidator, like cerebral assassin. Like he wants to shut you down. He doesn't want you to go in the corners. He wants to have you shy away from his hits. Like he's that guy that wants to intimidate, but he also has a pretty good offensive game too. So as a defenseman, he's a guy, he comes from an athletic family I know defensemen are not generally guys that are always collected, but I think because he is going to always have a target on him and kind of be an outspoken and one of those players that people watch, I think he's that guy. Carter Bear is a tremendous offensive player.
Achilles. That's what I wanted to ask you.
He had Achilles injury. He's over it. Played with Everett.
Younger,
low to offense. And so he's a guy that maybe because of the Achilles kind of goes around 15, 16, 17, maybe, he might go before. I don't think so.
I want Pittsburgh to get him. I think the Pittsburgh would be great if they got him. I hope Sydney could get some reps in with him.
I think Carter Bear, I have Carter Bear going to, let's see. Oh, if it was my choice, I had the Red Wings taking Carter Bear. That's
Red
one
Wings.
of the things that'll be on the show next year.
Okay.
Tomorrow, rather, not next year. It's been a long day of interviews. I think Pittsburgh might go for McQueen. I do, because they're
Pittsburgh's
really
before Detroit. What they're 11.
Yeah, they're at 11.
13?
They're really. If you think about it, they're lacking centers. They're lacking size. Malkin's going to retire. So he would be a guy
you're right.
that could slot in, So that's something. I know Kyle Dubas, everybody has him nabbed for getting smaller guys. But, if Mario sort of wrestles ownership away again from the Fenway group with Ron Burkle, I think Mario will have input. So I think Kyle Dubas will have to change a little bit.
What about Coots? He's a big lad, isn't he?
He's 6'2", 6'1.5", 6'2".
Yeah, I thought maybe
he's good. I think it's a little early for him. He I asked him about being a pain in the ass at the combine. He said that's his third best trait. So he's got a real good personality. He plays.
I love him already. He's my favorite player.
He's got a gritty game, but he also can score. But I don't think the offense is super high. So I think like McQueen could score more than him. And I think that's why at some point, like McQueen, if he never had a back injury, would be top 5 all day. So I think it's just one of those things.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah.
Eh?
Oh yeah. No,
I
a
did
couple of
not
years
know
ago,
that.
that's what he was
Okay.
nabbed for, and then this
Interesting.
happened. So you know, there's a wild card guy here. He won't go in the first round, I don't think. But there's a guy named Mason West who he's with Adina in Minnesota. He plays Yeah, okay, it is Adina. Yeah, he plays football, but he also plays hockey. So he's playing football for one more year. Then he says he's committing to hockey. So he plays on both teams. And so he's going to get drafted. It's just like me, I wouldn't draft a guy like that in the first round. But, you know, it's going to be kind of like, not like Tom Glavine, because Glavine never played, although they said he was
Bo Jackson.
Really good hockey player. Yeah, a little bit of Bo Jackson there. But I think, you know, Mason West, from a collectible standpoint, since he's going to play football for one more year, you never know if he gets on a Leaf card or something for football, and then, you know, all of a sudden he starts getting hockey cards later down the road. We don't see that anymore, so it would be fun.
You guys are circling around probably one of the best puck retrievers in the queue, somebody that makes a lot of space and gets himself into the right spots, and I don't know why he's so far down, but it's that Justin Carbonneau.
So I can tell you why. Okay. So Justin Carbonneau, and he was really pushing for the Flyers at the Combine because Danny Briere and the whole French-speaking stuff. But the thing is, while he's a bigger guy who could skate and really score, there's no denying that. What you also can't deny is how he'll just skate into traffic and lose the puck, and he'll do it over and over again. Now, there's some thoughts on it that, hey, you know, in the queue, you know, you're always it's not a good defensive league, right? But so people do take more offensive chances there. He's maybe trying to do too much on his own, on his team. And so there's that thought, hey, the guy could skate, he's got size, he could score. I think he'll be in the top 17. I ranked him 17, which means he might go a little lower, but he's a heck of a talent. It's just, even when I asked him about that problem of skating into traffic, all he would say is, listen, I'm young, I could be better. So I think he was just coached to say that. But the hockey IQ is going to be something that people are going to wonder about, and that's why. So if you want to know your answer, that's why.
Yeah, if you're a bit of a dummy, I don't want you on my team.
He's not a dummy. It's just he's a risk taker.
Yep. No, I'm in general. I wouldn't want someone.
He's a bull in a china shop, right? He's a hammer, and he sees the ice as a nail.
He gets a head of steam going. He's hard to stop, man. He's got a tremendous offensive game. If he didn't have this high risk tag attached to him, he'd be top 12. But I think he's going to go a little lower because people are going to be like, all right, can he get over the turnovers? Because there were games, you know, elite prospects tweeted it out at times. There'd be games where you have 4 or 5 turnovers, and you know how it is in the NHL now. It's like you can't turn over a puck over twice or you start getting benched.
Yeah. Shane Van Sage, do you think he'll be available for my Sens at 23?
Yeah, 21, I think it's a little early for my taste, because while I do like his high motor and the fact that he's really strong and he hits like a ton of bricks, and he's already at Michigan State, and maybe Gavin McKenna will be at Michigan State soon. We'll find out after the draft. He'll be the hottest guy in the hobby in the next 10 years if he ends up going to college and going right to the NHL after that. He's going to be the number 1 pick next year. That's not going to change. So Van Sage's good. I just don't know how high his offense is going to be. I mean, as a young guy at Michigan State, he wasn't going to score a ton. He did switch midseason, so that was something where
another wing center, Like
a wing. He's a wing. I think that was a positive move, but I think you could still kind of get him around 30. Now, if the Sens decide, hey, that's their guy, I'm not going to kill him. I'm a big Tyler Clevin guy, and people at Elite Prospects killed me.
Yes,
Tyler Clevin. They're like, no, he's not that good. He's not.
He is that good, and he got rewarded for it. Yeah,
I'm telling you, this guy is good. He has rewarded me. He's made me look smart. So good for Tyler Clevin.
Big Clevin fan. He's got a permanent spot on this team now, and he stepped up the whole year, and he was one of our best defensemen in the playoffs. Did you see how mean he got?
Oh, absolutely.
That's been my biggest knock, and he was like kind of getting mad, you know. And I'm like, yes.
I am a big Tyler Clevin guy, but I got ripped for it during his draft year.
Nah, you got respect for me, Russ. Fantastic.
All right.
There's always like the copycat nature in any sports league, and the Florida Panthers are dominated the NHL really the last 3 years.
So.
Have you noticed a trend like with GMs and scouting departments? Are they looking for like the Sam Bennett's, the kind of agitators, big guys that are willing in, not just skilled, but willing to drive everyone crazy out on the ice.
Well, yeah, that's why, like when Phil was talking about Brady Martin, that's why he's rising in the draft, because they're like, well, he's the next Sam Bennett. Yeah, but except Sam Bennett, like when he was with Calgary, it was up and down with him. Like they were always talking about trading him, and then they finally did. And, it still kind of took him a while to kind of get to this point, right? Where he's like this. I mean, because, I covered Game 6 and he was just dominant in Game 6. My God, he couldn't be held back. But again, it took him a while to get like that. I do think teams try to copy to a degree, but it's hard to do what Florida did. Like I was in the scrum with Bill Zito, and he talked about a little bit of luck, which I think is fair to say, but he also made some great pickups. Carter Verhaeghe, a lot of teams gave up on him, the Leafs being one of them if you're a Leafs fan, right? So there's that. Bennett, they picked up Bennett. Sam Reinhart, he was good in Buffalo, but nobody stays
like
in
that.
Buffalo.
So, did you see their Instagram post where they went through all these guys and they just added at the Bruins, thank you at Boston Bruins, and had a picture of Marchand and thank you Buffalo.
And Brad Marchand, I think, surprised us all, because even at the end of the season with Florida, still didn't look like the same guy, not even close. And then the playoffs started, and he started to get it back. And by the time the Stanley Cup came around, he was like the same old Brad Marchand. So I think he'll be still collected like crazy, because again, I don't think he's going anywhere, and he just won another Stanley Cup, and he could be in line for another one. And so like that's something where you look at a guy like that, and I think he's his cards will go up.
You know what that tells me? That tells me Florida has an awesome culture, and all these guys bought in and they gelled. Sometimes the je ne sais quoi, I don't know what it is, but it worked. There's a magic, right? There's the magic.
There is a magic. There's a magic. There's a dirtiness to their team that has worked too. Bob, I've covered since Philly. I mean, I've seen him since he was a young goalie, and I know everybody ripped his salary when he was with Columbus and such. And then when Florida got him, they're like, "Oh, look, see, he's not that good." And then all of a sudden, Bob figured it out, and he's got multiple Vezinas now and multiple cups. And that's another guy where I kind of wonder. I haven't looked at Bob cards, but I think he's probably undervalued, because he doesn't have that same name.
Whole team. No, that whole team.
Yeah, he doesn't have that same name as Marc-Andre Fleury, and Barkov's one of the 5 best centers in the league, and he doesn't get enough due. He really
we talk
doesn't.
about all the time, and you're maybe a good guy to ask this.
Yeah, ask. I know what you're going to ask.
The biggest driver in hockey card values is hype, but nobody can seem to quantify it. Nobody can understand it. Nobody knows why a player like Barkov has no hype, and why certain players come in with all the hype in the world, and it's hard to lose it. So it's like, have you ever looked into that? It's like, why did Connor Bedard have so much more hype than Macklin Celebrini, as an example?
Well, he's Canadian, so there's that. And Canadian hockey card collectors are massive.
Sure.
So that's a part of it, especially like the Toronto Expo that fuels all the young gun stuff. It all opens up that year, right? At that show. So that's not an accident. Either you're a flamboyant Russian hockey player like Pavel Bure, or you're a quiet one like Sasha Barkov, and he's a quiet one. So that hasn't helped him. Where Pavel Bure, everybody collected Pavel Bure. I mean, Upper Deck took pictures. Upper Deck, Upper Deck took pictures of him rollerblading.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask. I thought you were gonna ask Russ this question. Russ, who would you, if you were starting a team today, and both of the players that I'm about to say, you had them at their prime, and you were going to build a team around it, would you pick Jari Kurri or Sasha Barkov?
Barkov.
Thank you.
I love Curry, but Barkov.
Well, that's all the time we have for it.
I gotta have. Yeah, I have to have.
No, these guys I made fun of all the time. They're like, no, Jari Kurri. I'm like, but I played hockey. They didn't. So,
but listen, Curry was flashy, and he was just an elite
complimentary. Curry was complimentary.
Well, he's more than complimentary. Look at his points. Like that's you're an Edmonton hater. That's all that's telling me.
No, I'm not.
So, no, okay. But anyhow,
I am in this moment.
Josh, the other part is it's when demand exceeds supply, and so like Michael Jordan's rookie, right? Like I know a guy, Rich Bradley, who worked with Fleer. He's with the Flyers. He does their scoring. And so he's the guy in the booth scoring all the hits and stuff. And I asked him, I said, these Michael Jordan rookies, they're not in like short supply. And he said, no, but it's Michael Jordan. So the hype is exceeded the supply on that. Same with
Mm.
Gretzky. So it's hard to get that. I mean, I remember the Gretzky hype. I'm old enough, sadly. I remember it because like they were talking about him even in like a New York newspaper at the age of 15. But
Yeah, when he was playing in Indiana, right? Stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, in the WHL, he played for the Racers, right? So, but I mean, how often does that happen? And
Mm.
so, in any sport, you know, Freddie Adu, or is it Abu? I forget. Like, he
Oh, the
didn't turn
soccer
it.
guy?
Yeah, he didn't turn into
Yeah.
anything, right? And but remember the hype?
Yeah, he was like, what, 15 and the next
Yeah,
big thing for American soccer? Yeah, I remember
yeah, the
that.
hype was just unbelievable. So, you know, I think there should be hype for Coco Gauff now. I know they're making tennis cards, and
Mhm.
I think she should have hype. But yeah, I just think, you know, hockey is probably the worst sport at getting a guy hyped, but they've managed to do it with Crosby and Malkin and guys like that. And so and Bedard is certainly one of them, and I think Celebrini is definitely one of them. So I think every once in a while they have them, but yeah, I do think sometimes it matters, you know, how you conduct yourself on the ice. And if you're not a guy that's, you know, like everybody loved Zegras because, you know, you score in Michigan's and he had this high offensive game. And so, yeah, that's easy to gravitate to. I get it.
Mhm. One of the big things as it relates to the draft always is, especially at the very top end, are these guys going to play in the NHL this year, or are we not going to see them for a year or two? So when you go through the list, well, we'll just go like Schaefer, Misa, and Hagens. Do you all expect them to be NHLers in 25, 26?
No, I think Hagens will go back. Misa wants to sign. So he will do everything he can to get signed and play in the NHL right away. If he doesn't, I feel like he's going to go to Penn State, collect NIL money with his brother Luke, who's already there. So I think that's because he's already sort of like alluded to, hey, I want to sign, but he didn't talk about going back and playing junior hockey. So I think the next step would be college hockey because he can get paid there and, you know, take a rise in competition. So I think that's something that's on his mind. And Schaefer, I think just because you're the first pick, you get forced into playing right away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, but I think that's what's going to happen. He's working out this summer with Adam Pelech. So for anybody that was hoping that anybody else was going to get picked by the Islanders, they wouldn't have him working with Adam Pelech all summer if they weren't going to draft him. Like,
Sure.
he's not going to hang out on Long Island just on a lark. It's a nice place. I'm from there, but that wasn't going to happen. So I don't think any of them should play in the NHL this year, but I do think that there's a chance that Misa does. I think Schaefer will. And then as far as like right away, I don't think there's anybody else. But then, of course, at the end of a college hockey season, you might get a couple of them.
Yeah, the spring call up type thing.
Yeah.
So you got me curious. I read not too long ago that Cooper Flagg made $28 million at Duke this year in NIL.
Not as much as Arch Manning, but pretty good.
Yeah, but what's the college hockey NIL money like? Like, well, what's the upside for? I assume like
it's not like that. It's nothing like that. I mean, it's not even like wrestling. Like the top wrestling guy in the country made $1 million. $1 million.
Wow.
And so that's at Iowa.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're talking $5 figures. No, okay. It's nothing like that. No, it's like it's 5 figures.
So even maybe. A guy like Celebrini didn't make.
No, because it wasn't, the teams weren't allowed. The landmark decision just happened. So the fact that just happened means that teams now, you know, the schools, I call them teams, but the schools could share directly with the players. They weren't allowed to do it that way before. They were only allowed to get like outside advertising money. So, you know, now it's different, which is better if the school could oversee it anyhow. I mean, I do have an article up on Sportsology. You know, I talked to Penn State and I really got some great insight there from Jay Paterno, Joe's son. He's a board of trustee there. And he also, I needed a quote when I was thinking Gavin McKenna might be going there. So he couldn't talk about who might go there, but he talked about how their Penn State is really reaching out and getting players. They just got Jackson Smith, who I think is a top 10, top 12 pick in this draft. And they're going to get more because they have money. So I think it's 5 figures.
How money is changing the landscape of college.
Like, it's helping too because the game's been the same. There's always been the same advantages. You could play 35 40 games, you could get stronger, you get a great education. All that's been the same for a decade. What's different is now you can get paid.
Well, and I think where it's changing the landscape is, and Louis, you probably are thinking the same thing as Minnesotans and Golden. The idea of the number one draft pick going to Penn State is kind of laughable in a sense, right? It's like Penn State, hockey? Are you kidding me?
The Big Ten has money.
Of course.
And Penn State is putting, Jay Paterno told me they're getting a new stadium. So the fact that they're getting a new stadium for the football team, that money's going to bleed over into other things. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned you mentioned Jackson Smith.
Yeah.
He's like a really polished player, but he still needs a lot more work, right? Like, isn't he one of the players that needs whoever picks him needs to have the most patient with?
Yeah,
but he also has the biggest ceiling, possibly.
Not the biggest, but he has a high ceiling, and that's why he's going to college, because he understands that he needs to work out and get stronger, and that's why that's a good route for him. And he'll get some NIL money. He won't get as much as like a McKenna if he goes there, but he'll get some, and all of those things are good. I mean, those are big reasons. I ran into some of his family members, and they were discussing these kinds of things. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, and for Smith it will be very beneficial.
Nice.
I want to ask Russ about last draft and how those, before we go, but any more questions about the draft on Friday? Any players you guys want to know more about before we transition to that?
I asked my questions.
You're on mute,
nope,
bud.
He's on mute. Do you have a list in front of you, Russ? Do you have top 32? Yeah. Who do you have my Sens picking? Who do you think would be good for them?
Oh, you mean for a mock draft? Yeah, I don't do mocks. I'm doing it on Sirius,
okay.
But
no worries.
Yeah, I can't give away the list because I'm doing it live on the radio tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
But on NHL Draft Buzz, I have a ranking, so it's just where I think these guys will end up in 5 years.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, okay. I did think of one now that I had time since I was on mute. Even though he's a beast, I still think he's too young. But how long? I don't know what Chicago's going to do. I really think that Frondell's going to just end up in their lap. I think they're going to end up with him. But how long can they wait before they can put somebody up there with Bedard?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Frondell would be closer than some others. I mean, they just got who. I forget. They got Burakovsky. I mean, that's going to help them temporarily, and I think he's like a temporary fix for whoever they might draft, and that's why. Yeah, if they got Frondell, I think in 2 years you'd see him. And if they want somebody quicker, maybe Martone gets there in a year. He started to play in the World Championships, even though he didn't get a lot of time. I think it's one of those guys that they'll get. So, but again, you just don't want to rush these guys. I think they've made some mistakes by rushing some of their players before, and it's hurt them.
He's what, 16, something like that.
No. He's older than that. You have to be at least 17 and
17. Oh, he's 18.
He's 18.
Draft. Yeah.
Okay. When we look back now at last year's draft and the rookie class that I guess even maybe prior drafts too, pretty, I would say overall very successful.
Oh yeah, it was really very good
24.
class. Yep.
When you look at like the big three, I'll call them between. We call them Shimmy Shakes, Lane Hudson, and then Mitchkov and Celebrini. Which one of those surprised you the most and how effective they were?
I don't think any of them. Like, I expected all of them to be gangbusters in different ways, and they were all really, really good. So, I mean, maybe Hudson a little bit, but I knew what he could do if he could just play a little bit of defense, because I knew his offense was just off the charts. So none of them surprised me. I think the one that I know, if I were collecting heavy, and he doesn't have a card yet, but eventually he will. But again, with the new rules now, I think if you start the year with a team, you're not going to get in a set until like mid-season, right?
Oh, you just have to. It's more on product lead time to have a hockey card. You can even play in a preseason game, and they can make a card. Yeah,
so he'll play in preseason, but still, even that's not going to come out until 2 or 3 releases down the road, right? So, because I was also thinking about when guys come in at the end of the year before, but He didn't, but Ivan Demidov is going to be the most exciting guy that
Oh,
those
don't
other
worry.
guys.
The hobby's gonna go all over that.
He'll be in
Yeah,
Series 1 in the
that'll be the
fall.
biggest chase. Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
be
I mean, I guess if they use a preseason shot and they rush it in, that would be the move because.
Well, he played in the spring.
Yep, he's got 2 games in.
Oh, that's
He'll
right.
be
He
in-
did get games at the end of the year. Yeah. So that's why I was thinking. Yeah, that's right. So
you know when you buy when Demidov, everyone's buying that. You know what you buy? Hudson and Caulfield, because everyone's going to be selling those cards to buy Demidov.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Unless you think he's by far better than the other two.
I mean, he's going to have more points than both of them. I mean,
really, eh?
I don't know if that makes him better, but he'll have more points. But yeah, but what was the new rule? I know this was getting cloudy in my head, but when you come in at the end of the year, no matter what, they made you wait until the next year, right? Is that what it was?
It's mainly the lead time. It takes Upper Deck a number of months to produce a set, and so by the time they get they have to have a photo of you on the ice,
right? But he played 2 games at the end of the year, so it's like
so you could be he could be in MVP, which will come out in August,
right.
We'll
see. It'll be interesting to see if he's in that, because if he were, that would push that. I'm not a big MVP guy, but that would push that product a bit. But Demidov, yeah, he's crazy good. Zane Parekh did get in a game last year. He's fun to watch. Offensive dynamo on the blue line.
I wish he slipped to Ottawa. I like Yakimchuk, but I wanted Parekh would have been awesome, obviously.
Yeah, and Bouillon was that rare guy like Chris Kreider was, or years and years ago, Brian Leetch, where didn't even play in the regular season. Well, Leetch played in the regular season, but he came from college and the Olympics. But Kreider only played in the playoffs. He didn't even play in the regular season. And so, yeah, so he'll get a card for that. And Bouillon is a tremendous player too. So, those are some good guys. Hellenius just got, player of the year in the AHL for Buffalo. So that's another big thing. He's a guy that at some point next year or two, he's going to be up too.
Go ahead, Louis.
I just want to give maybe some warm fuzzies to one of our good buddies, Irish Flyers collector Neil, and he's really hooked on his Jet Luchenko.
Yeah, I like Jet. I think he wasn't as good as I thought he could be in the AHL, and I felt like I was wanting a little more, but it's okay. I felt like his playmaking still came through, really fast, getting stronger every time I see him in dev camp. They're going to have a problem because this will be the Shane Wright argument. Like, well, can you send him back to juniors? What does he have to prove? And I think he still has more to prove in juniors. The problem is Guelph stinks and they can't seem to trade him. If they could trade him, it would really help his career. So if they don't see him getting traded from Guelph, are they going to do a Shane Wright where they kind of bleed out his 8 games and send him the World Juniors and then hope he gets traded? Then they might. I would not put him full-time with the Flyers yet. I don't care how good he looks in the summer. I would wait. I don't want to ruin this kid's upside. And so, yeah, I know people are anxious to see Luchenko and Michkov full-time, but I would hold off if I could.
So what's the difference? What's the difference with Michkov and Luchenko? Sorry, Josh, just really quick. What separates them? Is it just the little minor details? No,
there's an overall thing there. Like Michkov, for one thing, playing in the KHL against men, he came in like a man.
Ready to go.
The only thing ready to go, like, he just had to get used to living in the U.S., dealing with John Tortorella, and learning how to play a little more defense.
Okay.
He accomplished all those things. The defense is still a work in progress. The offense is great, but he was already built like a brick truck, and
he's one of those irrational confidence guys too, right?
He is. He's always
awesome.
Sky high. He wanted to win the Calder. He didn't get a chance to. I voted. I had him third. I did, but he didn't get the top 3. I felt he could have. Dustin Wolf. Hey, I like Dustin Wolf too. I mean, I'm not going to knock him. So, but the thing is, yeah, I think Michkov is just a cut above. He's just one of these guys that was already ready when the Flyers got him, even at that age. And
he wants it. He wants
it. He wants to be a winner. Not that Luchenko doesn't. It's just there's just a difference in them. And it's not the difference of being like a man and almost a man, but it's just the difference of he is just like a potential superstar, and Luchenko just is not a potential superstar. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way it is.
Did the Flyers have to get rid of Torts for Michkov to realize his potential? Do you think? Because I've heard a lot of friction.
No, I think so. I think it was getting to be ridiculous. The benchings, the other stuff. Michkov took it all in stride. Now, understand in the KHL, he got similar treatment by some coaches there because he didn't play an all around game. Like those coaches are not like the nicest guys. They, you know, I mean, remember he went to Sochi because, you know, the big club didn't want him. So they sent him there because they're like, yeah, go learn how to play in Sochi. And he did. He was great. But it's just like, you know, he had ups and downs that way in the KHL too before the NHL. So I think he was more mentally prepared for that than a prospect would be, a normal prospect. And I think that really helped Michkov. And so, yeah, he's driven to be great.
Okay, so as a guy, you do a Flyers podcast, so you watch the team very closely. After last year on Michkov, do you feel it's kind of like a same, better, worst question? Like, do you feel like he has more upside than you thought he would, or about the same, or less?
No, I think it's the same because I felt like he was probably an 85-point guy on most years, and then maybe he gets 90 one year, maybe another year he gets, you know, 80. So I felt like he was going to be that guy anyhow. The power play just sucked. So he didn't have that many power play points. He's going to have a lot more power play points this year, and that's going to help him. So I think between that and a new coach and just having a few better players, even a guy like Zegras will get to play with him, and that's a lot of offense to add to what could help him. Konecny was already helping him. So it's going to be a nice year. I don't think he's going to have a sophomore slump. I think sophomore slumps happen when guys kind of aren't used to pro hockey. And the thing I was going to drive at before is there's room for improvement in his conditioning. Now, I'm not saying he's pudgy or anything. He's not.
Yeah.
But he would get gassed because he would just give everything on every shift. And in the third periods of games, at times he would be gassed like midway through the third. He wasn't used to that. It's different. It was different than the KHL. So I feel like this year, you know, he's going to hit Chipotle, but he's not going to hit anything worse than that. And I feel like his conditioning will get better over the summer with him staying in Philly with some of the teammates.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up for my questions. What about you guys? Any other final thoughts for
what do you think?
There's always one. There's always one guy.
It's usually me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is everyone? I'm watching a lot of potential trades, people's top 10 list, the whole bit. Saravelli has JJ Peterka, who I want the Sens to go hard at because I want to reunite the Germans on my team.
Sure.
I want JJ Peterka, and Saravelli has him number 1. Saravelli's the only guy that has JJ Peterka as number 1. Everyone else has him like 8, 9. Am I missing something? Yeah.
No, I think Frank's missing something.
Okay.
And no offense to Frank, I know him really well, but you know, I've spoken to some people in Buffalo. They really don't think Peterka is going anywhere. Yeah.
I thought maybe it's because he's not a pure goal scorer. I'm like, he is
a heck of a player. Of course he is, but I don't think Buffalo's going to let him go. Like they still have him under control, so I don't think they're pushing him out of town. I think they're negotiating with him, and they're going to see, you know, what the best deal they can get him on. So I don't think he's going to go. That's why I think he's 8 or 9.
Okay, good. I thought you're like, oh, he's not that good, Phil. I'm like, oh my god, I want him on my team. So I think he's a lot better than people think.
But you know, that's a whole different. Again, that's a whole different level. It's like I said, there's a difference of Michkov and Luchenko. There's a difference of Stützle and Peterka.
Yeah. Well, Russ has done something that the three of us could never do. He wrote a book. You want to tell us about the book?
Yeah, it's called Game Winners. It's I wrote it with Matthew Blittner.
No, hold it up, Russ. I want to see it. I can't see it. Yeah.
50 greatest game-winning goals of all time. Awesome. But the thing about the game-winning goals is it's from the NHL or Olympics. And so
the golden goal, the Crosby
goal.
Of
course, like if you're asking me about Henderson at the Summit Series, it's not in there. Sorry, Phil. I know every Canadian starts to go with, whoa, is it because it wasn't in the parameters? Yes, that's exactly right. No, it's not like we want to keep Henderson. It's just there's too many other goals in other ways. So we had to limit it in some way. So there's that. Outdoor games certainly count. Sidney Crosby's goal in the first outdoor game was massive for the league and everything else. So that's in there. There's, Canadian stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a Senators one. Sorry.
Yeah,
we don't deserve it yet. What are you going to put, Doug Smale?
I think we have their outdoor game in there. Maybe was it against Dallas? I forget.
It's not memorable, so I hope you do.
I know, but they're in there as not the main idea of it. but they're in there anyhow. So I think
we need a cup. We listen. I know what we are. If we don't get a cup, I'm 44. I just want a cup in my lifetime. That's a 50-50 chance, right?
I mean, you had a chance with Alfie. I mean, I give you that.
Oh, they killed us. There was men against boys with
I know, but you got
Chris
there.
Pronger beat us with his pinky finger.
Sure,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm trying to prop you up a little, but
I know it's okay. Yeah.
We did also, besides putting a list for the top 50, we also put a rating on the goals, like for difficulty and things. So we wrote a little passage about that. Matthew was a little less enthused about that, but I felt like that was a way that we could kind of put our stamp on it. And so like the Bobby Orr flying through the air goal, like that was from a cheap play, not because he scored the goal that way. He got tripped. And like, so like after the big winning goal, guy from the Blues tripped him, stuck his stick in his skates, and he went flying. So it's like, yes, that's the most iconic shot, but that wasn't like difficulty on the goal. It was just a cheap shot.
I know it sounds weird, to make it the top 51, but I'm over you not getting me in there in 51. It's okay.
Okay. What was your big goal?
In like the 3rd grade?
In midget? Yeah. Was it minor midget? What was it? Like 14U?
At the outdoor rink.
Yeah, but it was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you look like a bigger guy, so I feel like you may have dominated when you were 14.
Do you have really big goals that are nightmare fuel for people named Steve Smith? Do you have that goal in there, 1986, when he scored on his own net?
No.
Okay.
No. We don't. I mean, there's a guy named Wayne Gretzky that is in there.
Never heard of him.
May have scored 4 in one game. Or 5.
Sittler.
Was it 4 or 5? I think it's getting late.
Sittler's got 5, doesn't he?
He's got so many.
As long as Brett Hull's in the crease goals.
It's in there. There's quotes. There's quotes from Brett Hull in there. Listen, I mean, were we all kind of annoyed? Sure. But was that the rule? Yes. And so, like, that's it. Like, it's a massive goal. Like, there's just no way around it. And it's Brett Hull, and he made it bigger. And so, yeah, I mean, if you're a Sabres fan, it sucks for you, but what are you gonna do?
A lot. They're used to it. They're used to it.
Where can people get this book, Russ?
Look, nobody wins in Buffalo. I mean, the Bill. I'm a Jets fan, and the Bills are just a dominant team compared to the Jets, who have made the playoffs in 14 years, like the Sabres, but they haven't won a Super Bowl yet. So they can get it at Amazon.com.
Amazon. And what's the title again?
It's called Game Winners, the greatest game-winning goals in hockey history. There's a picture from Citi Field. I know some people are like, "Oh, you're a Met fan," but you know what? Tough luck. It was our best picture.
Do you come to the expo, Russ?
I haven't been in about 7 or 8 years.
You should come and sell that book so you can autograph it for me. That's what you should do. Yeah, I want that.
Not a bad idea.
No, you would clean up there, man. That people buy that book.
I know. I love the expo, and there are definitely a couple authors I know who go there, who work with like Sportsnet and such that do that. And yeah, I've had a great time every time. It's the best show in the world. But
oh man, you got to come up.
You know what? It doesn't always work with my schedule. Like we used to do shows from up there. We used to do live broadcasts from up there, from In the Game with Brian Price, and we had some.
Do you know Brian Price?
Oh yeah. Very well.
Maybe you could help us get him on the show.
Brian, it would take some doing to get Brian on the show, but when you get him talking, he's great. He's just a tremendous hobby guy, and
awesome.
Was a dentist, as you know. So yeah, he's tremendous. We've interviewed some great players up there, industry people. We probably did about 10 or more shows over a period of years. So yeah, I always loved doing it. And
you got to come back.
It was with the original guy. What was his name? Al, who used to be like, when the show was getting ready to close, he'd be like, "All right, everybody start packing up."
I only went twice in like 15 years.
Oh, see, I know more than you.
I absolutely.
You got the smoked meats guy. That guy's probably still
there. We got Marcel Dion at his booth. He's always there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous show. I love it. I bought plenty of things from there, except the smoked meats, because I don't eat any red meat. But I walk by the smoked meat table. I just kind of look.
And you go like this.
Yeah, I just kind of look at it. Yeah. But, David Wright's a good friend of mine. We've gone together. That was the last time I went. I was with him. So maybe I'll go.
Different. Very different. Very, very different.
Yeah.
Well, you can catch Russ anywhere there's draft information. I said NHL Draft Buzz at Sportsology, Hockeyology, on SiriusXM Radio, Locked On, Flyers. You are an awesome human being. You shared a lot of great
Don't
information.
oversell me. It's okay.
No, well,
He's a
listen, you
Flyers
paid me.
fan.
I gotta earn my money. So,
All right, I get it.
but we really appreciate you coming on the show, and we can't wait to talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Russ for
Mhm.
taking time on a very busy week. I was a little nervous when it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's probably
Yeah, he had a lot going on. He was a busy boy.
directions, and
He sure knows his stuff, though. It's just like you bring up a name and he's like, blah, 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 blah. I mean, he should write a book.
he's allergic to spaghetti. But and his aunt is weird. But other than that, yeah, he's got good size and he moves the puck well.
What the good listener didn't see was when I asked him, or was it on recording when I was like, hey, what's your list? Like, show us your mock draft list. He's like, no. I'm like, all right, never mind. Denied. No bueno.
Well, actually, I'm shocking. I'm gonna throw you guys a compliment. I was very impressed with your guys' level of draft knowledge. Did we lose Louis?
Or he's having a stroke. Maybe we shouldn't be laughing. I'm gonna go ahead and laugh.
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened on the show. Look at it. We cannot stop.
I think we need to take a picture. Oh, there we go. Louis, don't say anything if you're going to give me all your New Jersey Devils cards.
Yeah. Louis, you're back after the greatest moment in our show history. You unplugged your computer again?
Yep, I plugged it into a different spot now, so hopefully it never happens again.
Okay. But if you do freeze again, please do it just like that. Because
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome. And Phil took a picture.
Yeah.
Did you
make it last longer?
Well, in our triple header interview show today, it's time to get to our third conversation, which was another great one. We've all been loving 24-25 Parkhurst Champions. A release came out a week or so ago now, and had the opportunity this week to chat with Upper Deck's Patrick Smith. Party time Pat, as we like to call him, and oh boy.
Look at that picture.
I had a realization this morning that I'm pretty sure I called him Patrick Sullivan.
Patrick Sullivan.
And I think he was like too courteous to like call me an idiot about it, because it hit me where I'm like thinking Patrick Sullivan. And right at the beginning of the interview, he said, "Oh, I'll be Pat Sullivan today." And that hit me. I think the whole time I literally called, I'm dumb. I called him Patrick Sullivan.
Have you emailed him to apologize yet?
Yeah. I said,
okay.
I said,
that's
why? Maybe next time just say, "Hey, bonehead, that's not my name."
When I worked at a grocery store growing up, for 3 years, a guy named Victor in produce called me Peter or Jeff. I never had the heart to correct him. For 3 years, he called me that. I even went to his retirement party, and that's where I told him.
Really?
Yeah, he only did like a shift a month to stay in the union. But he was, I think it was Peter. I think he always called me Peter. Yeah, nice man. Nice silver hair.
We're massively professional around here, obviously.
That was good.
Can't even call our guest by the right name. So sorry, Party Time Pat. I feel bad. Well, our conversation today with Patrick Smith is brought to you by our friends and partners at Mint Inc. Mint Inc. is the spot in Canada to get some 24-25 Parkhurst Champions. It is in stock on their website right now. They can ship to anywhere in Canada. Phil will prove it. He'll go someplace weird soon, and we'll talk about that. But now you can retaliate, so I'm a little worried. But you can hop on to mintinc.ca and get Parkhurst Champions or any of the other new releases right now. And with that, we present you Upper Deck's Patrick Smith. Well, we're excited to welcome back to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, Party Time Pat Sullivan from Upper Deck. Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Pat Sullivan today and today only, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. We're here to talk about Parkhurst Champions. We can't stop, won't stop with our love for one of our favorite sets. And did you ever hear the story of how Phil got smitten with Parkhurst Champions?
I'm here for some first date tales. Let's go.
Okay. Him and I were walking around the expo, and we knew we were going to have friends night at the Chateau Gong Show. It was spring, fall. I can't remember which one it was. Shortly after, when the first Parkhurst Champions came out, and I'm pretty sure we were both out of money, and we needed some cheap boxes to open that night.
Not say that part.
It's true. And I I don't know if I convinced him, but I think we both decided to get a box of Parkhurst Champions. And Phil, like everything that is new to him, he's look, he has to warm up to things, right? So he's like meh about it, and we're all sitting around, and everyone's opening their boxes, and he starts going into his box, and he's opens a couple of packs. He's like, I don't know, not. And then all of a sudden, he's like halfway through the box, and he pulls a Black Legend Gretzky, which was out of 10. And from that second, the obsession has been an obsession.
well, I'm glad we're able to keep feeding the obsession, man.
Yeah, feed this animal.
This set. This is the first year I've gotten to build it the 3 we've done it. So
nice.
Yeah.
4 cases in. 4 cases I bought, Pat, after that. Yeah. Went a little crazy. I won't be doing that with your set. I'll just maybe do 2 cases.
I like it.
There you go.
So you took over for 24-25, and we did notice some changes. And I was actually pleased that there was some changes. We have some questions about a number of them. But
fire away.
I felt a little bit like the second year was pretty close to the first year. I mean, it was a little like an inch to the left where you made some more significant changes this year. And I guess that's maybe where I'll start with my questions. Was it intentional that you wanted to switch it up a little bit while sticking on brand, so to speak?
Well, I mean, and I'll be a little honest. I mean, I like to put my stamp on, like, I guess any product I take over, but I guess I had an unfair advantage with Parkhurst Champs that the person who built it last year didn't have. And the fact that the first and second year Parkhurst Champs kind of released not terribly far apart from each other. So when the person built it last year, odds are when they built that, the first one hadn't released yet. So, the person who built last year, there's a chance that they didn't even know what would be popular in the first one when they built the second one.
Okay.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. So that might be the reason the first 2 feel a little closer to each other, because the second one could have always been built at a time when the first one hadn't even been out that long or may not have been out. So that afforded me some luxuries because I had, 1, almost 2 out by the time I got to start messing with this one.
We're going to get right into the hard-hitting questions. Why did we change Legends to Greats?
Legends is just trademarked by the Hockey Hall of Fame. You'll start to see that around probably more and more in cards. It's just something where we can't call it the word Legends really anymore.
How do they trademark Legends?
This is out of control. Like what? What you can't? Use
I guess I don't know. I don't get too far into that. I just know that for our side, going forward, any of the retired Hall of Famer type guys, you're going to see them more probably referred to as greats than anything else.
Wow.
I'm looking into that. That is so insane for
hire a
you
lawyer.
as a company to not work. No, but that's for like, who's the person who received that information? Like, listen, it's probably best if we don't use like what? So pretty soon you're not going to be able to use the word the, right? Trademarked. Like it's or light or outside, any basic word, right? This is.
And Pat, it puts Pat in a weird spot because I know Upper Deck has to have a good relationship.
No, I know, but we're speaking on Pat. Anyway, that puts you in a very challenging position, Pat. And wow, did not think you were going to give that as an answer. So,
and I mean, hopefully I didn't say too much there, but I mean, honestly, it's not going to change the content you guys see at all. I mean, it's still going to get the same content. We aren't limited anyway. It's more superficial than anything else on the call out.
But it's a nice word. An L is a nice character to look at, and legend. It's visually nice, right? It's anyways. That's crazy.
Well, it just comes down to, and this is you can. I'm talking with the group here. We're not talking at Upper Deck officially.
Part of the group.
But you are part of the group. But it does. It's like when it gets to the point where you're allowed to trademark what seem like common words. Like if you come up with a phrase or name or title that is very unique and creative and constructed, right, for whatever you're doing, then it makes sense, right? Well, it's like, we kind of coined that term and introduced it to the marketplace.
Like Fanimation. That's a cool Fanimation. Topps can't use that. Makes sense. Totally understand that. Legend?
Yeah, it's like
What
I
is
wonder
happening?
how far this is gonna go.
Yeah, it's
Where like,
interesting.
guy that used to play hockey good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't use good, Josh. Nini owns that one.
I'm sorry. Guy that
Well, it's a tough spot, Pat. What an even bigger success. Just knowing stuff like that, man. That's crazy.
Well,
pretty soon it'll just
like
be like
I
a
said,
shrugging guy,
hopefully it didn't change the content at all. So
No, brother. No,
that's
no.
all I'll worry about.
No, but it was kind of interesting, right? Because the legends was a theme, and then all of a sudden, it's not, and so we had to ask that. What went into the choice to switch up the parallel colors and from like going to like the pinky, like the shell pink and the baby blue?
Oh, I mean, I'm just I'm a big fan of. I'm a guitar player. I'm a big fan of some of the vintage Fender guitar colors, the big, Chevy colors from the 50s, shell pink, seafoam green.
There it is.
Shoreline blue. Just colors I thought felt cool with a hockey set, especially if we were going for that era. So
Nice.
Grand Slam,
Cadillac
brother.
kind of vibe.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Nice. You know what that is, Phil?
Yeah, do up. There she was, just a walking down the street, right?
You got a date to the sock hop, Phil?
I don't know what that is.
The enchantment under the sea dance. You gonna go?
For Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I got a tune here for you, and I hope you like it, but you might not be ready.
Oh wow, that's pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty. Are you a movie guy, Pat?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. Now,
Not since children.
Yeah, you like Bluey now. Bluey.
Yeah.
Okay, so the base set in Parkhurst Champions is there's like the veterans, then you have how's it go? It goes veterans, stars, rookies, and then the new greats because we can't say the L word anymore. And when did you guys realize the kind of awkwardness on the stars and then players from Dallas?
When I opened the first box of it. I'll be honest.
I love you, Pat. I love you.
Hey.
You're so honest. I love this man.
I mean, can we just knock the question out to you? You're going to ask me about beige next, aren't you?
No, but what?
Oh, nothing.
No.
No,
you got to let you find Josh. Oh, you got to find it now.
He's like, oh, they don't know the. Go ahead.
Phil will see you when he starts sorting it.
Okay. Pat's like, they don't know the third thing. Thank God.
They don't know that they're. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? That was kind of. I was watching on release day breaks, and I haven't been more entertained in a long time than breakers going through the first few boxes, trying to pull out the hits, right? Because technically, they're any stars are great to be a short printed or a rookie, and them getting all locked up on a Dallas player.
Yeah. No, I definitely had to use the card backs and numbers to separate the two.
There you go.
But yeah, I did not notice that till afterwards.
One of the hidden sort of things behind Parkhurst Champions too that's good for people to know about is all cards in the base set have, and it's an unannounced kind of Easter eggy thing. Well, no, or unannounced odds, not an Easter egg, but the blank back parallel.
Yeah.
So you got to take the time and flip over those cards and make sure, because those are assuming pretty rare, hey?
Yeah, you'd see a couple of them. I noticed I guess sorting them, I noticed the blank backs were just a tad bit lighter, so you could fan the stack a little and kind of see them, but yeah, they still crept in there. Blank backs are something I like because I think we've talked about this before. I'm making cards for collectors who put time into the cards they have in front of them. Like I like, I love variants to cards. I love having to make a collector flip a card over to see if they have something out of the ordinary. So blank backs to me, I'll be honest, is something that's straight from Parkhurst, or straight from O-Pee-Chee, but it's something I like. I mean, like I said, anything that makes the person have to, flip the card over or do some work into seeing if they have something different is kind of a cool chase to me.
Mm-hmm. A good tip for people buying boxes and cases, do it. That's the last thing you do. When you get your stacks, however you sort while you rip, that's the last thing I do. You just rip through everything really quick and see if there's a blank back, put it to the side, Doesn't matter what it is. That's what saves me time instead of every pack doing this. Do it at the very end of the box or case or whatever.
See, I look for it right away because every time I look at a card through that stack out of that pack, I'm thinking of Party Time Pat and all the effort he put into this, and I want to enjoy every card. I'm not
Oh my God, man.
And then I'll
it's like it's not about appreciation. I think it's about working hard, not smart. And Louis good at that. So
yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
Okay, children. One other thing that is, I'm going to call it a hobby miracle. For the first time ever in Parkhurst Champions, Phil likes the retros this year. He's been it's kind of weird on face value. He's been the biggest fan, but has never liked the retros in the first 2 releases, but it instantly gushed over your 53, 54 retro. So what was like your approach to kind of making those and trying to stick true to the 1953 bit while doing that?
I think the biggest thing is I saw the retros, the 51, 52s that we had done that were undersized, the more mini retros. And we just put such an effort into getting so much 1-to-1 with that original set that it was something from the outset that me and Grant definitely kind of pushed for, is if we're going to do 54, 55, we should do it right. And you'll notice subtle things in there. You know, if a card was horizontal in the original 54, 55 set, I tried to give direction, you know, for the modern player in this retro set to be horizontal. There's a dual Montreal card in the original set. Like we tried to make sure we got all that correct with, we did Caulfield and a Suzuki this year in the same card number as the original, like Montreal duel. So it was just all part of getting it right. Like that's one of the first things I like. Like, if you look at a vintage theme set, like I'm looking more for, I'm one of those people that kind of looks at it to see if there's anything wrong with it before I see if there's anything right with it. And so I think we just tried to be a real stickler for details on those retros this year.
You can tell. Stupid, silly question. So when Parkhurst comes out next year, is that going to be 54, 55?
It is going to be 54, 55, and I am going to break your heart. The retros are going to have to be normal size next year.
Well,
so everything I just said is mute. But
well, no, this is normal size.
That's an 8. No, put it next to a normal card. It's an 1/8 inch taller than a normal card.
No, I did not notice. Oh,
but you can,
it is. I'm a dog.
Yeah, that's where I was saying we tried to get extremely accurate.
I understood. I thought you meant more on the design.
I was kind of sleeve and a standard top loader, but yeah, they are an 1/8 inch taller than. That's why we had to package them separate instead of doing
there you go. Look at the deep. I love them even more. I'm going to finish the set now.
I pushed so hard to try to get those wax wrapped at first in some way, like. I thought it would have been so cool to have a wax wrap finish back on top, but
it's still great.
I think I'll be honest, the retros came out as probably my favorite thing from this year.
Yeah,
like,
huge surprise.
Great. I think our team did a really cool job at scrubbing the arena backgrounds to where all of them have, you know, a vintage feel with the, you know, the naked white boards and the over blue coloration to the ice. Like I think they did an awesome job.
Like a lot of the fans used to be painted in the background and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. That was all done in-house, Pat? That was all done
in-house? We had some of our guys basically
great job.
Take modern images, and I gave them original 54s, and then from there they
wicked brother, awesome,
colorized them.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, what I appreciate about you coming on our show to even talk about this, and I'd love to be part of a solution to it's like when you're talking about details, like how there was a dual Montreal card in the original 53, 54 Parker set, and you guys included that. You wanted to be so true to that level of collecting, and you included a Montreal. Those are the stories that we need to make sure get out there.
Yeah.
Right. Where you can see the time, effort, and passion that goes into building some of these sets, because we all find out about the whoopsies, the mistakes, right? And those, and you know, because I think that for collectors like us, that changes the equation a little bit on some of these, and of course we were wondering, the three of us were like, why are these in a separate pack? That seems kind of strange, but now
Yeah.
that you understand the reason and you know because you wanted to stay true to the actual size.
That's
It's like
honestly, that's also a reason why I couldn't do a 1-to-1 of the original 53 set, because the original 53 set was 100 cards, but since we made them that slight bit bigger, they could only go on a 90 up sheet. So that's the reason this retro set's 90, because they're just that little tad 1/8 inch bigger.
So what can we call? Everybody seems to be calling them a bonus pack. What can we call it instead? Bonus pack doesn't sound
well,
good.
bonus is now trademarked by Coca-Cola. So
What do we call them, Pat? Not a bonus pack, but it's
the Big Mac Super Bowl extra fun pack.
what do you guys call them?
The retro pack.
Retro
pack? I guess I'd call them the retro pack.
Let's do that. I like it.
Retro pack. Okay.
I just
the non-tribute, non-legend pack.
So Pat, do you find out, like, do you get to do Parkhurst again next year? So you can keep seeing it through? Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah. I'm next year as well. So
right on, brother. You gonna put the little red square in the 54, 55, like the old retros? I think that's the year with the red square, eh? Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, all right. I'm just making sure. I don't know.
Now, are you already done with 25, 26 Parkhurst champions?
It was. It's actually probably one of the last ones I did build, but yeah, it's starting to get some movement on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I did have a suggestion, and
no spoilers.
All right. Well, I want to get into the next topic, the inserts a little bit, and I really like a lot of these inserts. I wish, just me, that one or two of them were more rare.
Yeah.
So that there was like a tough chase. But I'm a big now. Phil loves this word. He's learning it. He practices 3 times a day. Right?
Structure.
No, lenticular.
Yeah, great word.
Yeah,
makes Josh smart.
And see, I think I like lenticular cards because I remember the baseball cards. I was a kid of the late 80s, and early 90s, and getting like the Barry Bonds or the Don Mattingly. And so when I see a lenticular card, I kind of probably harken back to those days. And so I was really happy to see those. And, were you a big lenticular fan, or why did you decide to go that route for this set?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've discussed this before, being, is somebody who collected in the late 80s, 90s growing up, when is their foundation, same thing as you, just saw a lot of cool lenticular cards around. And there were some from some really oddball sets that I found, and I've really liked between this product and Fleer Ultra 2324 that'll be hitting e-pack soon, finally. There's some real cool lenticular stuff in there, and I took a real deep dive into it because I really like that. I think you can do some cool stuff with it. Again, another one with a story is the in full color, the lenticulars that are in there, the wood grain television ones. Those are in tribute again to 53-54 because that was the first season the NHL ever showed a game in color television.
Oh, so in full color. There we go.
Yeah, those tie into 53-54 as well because it being the first year that color games were televised.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The other one is the retroactive, and that features 2 players where basically you twist the card one way and you see Gordie Howe, and twist it the other way and you have an image of Alexander Ovechkin. What's the tie in there? Because some of these, I don't know if you were involved on the checklist level. I know you mentioned that the coordinators kind of deal with that, but let's go with that one. Gordie Howe and Ovechkin. What's the reason to pair those 2 together?
I think the tie in there was just, a little bit stronger guys. If you saw it, Gordie was kind of a guy that got a lot of his goals, by moving some real estate. Ovi had a little bit of that in him young, both big shots, both scored a ton of goals. So I'm sure that was their intention there. I think they hit some really cool pairings in that set. The Flower Jock Plon's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a Makita Bedard that looks really sweet. So they did some pretty cool pairings on those. But more or less, it's just somebody who a 50s player that, has a similar playing style to somebody from today, or you could draw similarities to.
Gotcha. Phil is a huge fan of space because lives in outer space mainly.
He's mostly on
True.
cloud.
What are you getting at?
On the cloud.
The Atom Squad. Phil, do you want to tell Pat about your love of Atom Squad?
Atom Squad is amazing. Oh, no, I don't have it. I have Crease Lightning. Sorry. I love all the inserts. I think they're fantastic. Crease Lightning is a huge one for me, and I'm not really a goalie guy. I love the design. I love the simplicity. It looks like a gas station from the 60s, like everything kind of, man, everything makes sense. The shake, rattle, and roll. Love this, man. There's something about, like, I've seen this before on something. I just don't know what.
Well, what that's actually a pickup of is Upper Deck in the 90s made those Missing Link Parkhurst sets.
Okay.
For the years where there weren't Parkhurst.
Oh, yeah.
And that card's actually based off of one of the wrappers from one of those.
That's got it. Yeah, that's
one
what
of the
it
years Upper Deck did Parkhurst. That's based off of the wrapper from one of the years UD did like a Missing Link Parkhurst set.
Yeah, that's wild. Absolutely wild. And what gave you the Atom Squad idea? If my webcam will, there you go. What gave you that? Because that's very Mars Attacks-y.
Yeah.
Mars Attacks. And I'm a huge Mars Attacks guy. Like every insert in this is awesome. Right?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I love that 50s, especially like the whole like sci-fi and the
man.
Yeah. And so I just thought it was a cool theming, to fit that in with the 50s. And again, that's another one where our design team did those cool backgrounds for, I think there's 4 or 5 different backgrounds that rotate through that one. My only wish, and actually it hits on what Josh said on wishing it had rare versions, is after seeing those cards, I really kicked myself for not doing a glow in the dark version of those. Because a rare glow in the dark would have been awesome.
Oh, why did you say that? Louis and I are gonna have to listen to Josh all week now. He's like, I can't believe Pat didn't do that.
Yeah, well,
next year, brother, or the year after, or something. But listen,
you got something coming next year.
Okay, awesome.
There you go.
Phil, besides the doorbell, do you have a horizontal retro in your pile there?
I do not. I do not have a horizontal.
Pat, how did you randomly pick guys, or how did you decide who was going to go that way? Because I've been kind of flipping through stuff here, and I'm a horizontal guy, and I think they look flipping awesome.
Yeah, I kind of went with the original checklist and just try to more or less we gave those spots to legends for the most part.
Okay.
And if a card was horizontal in the original, we kind of just tried to find a guy who corresponded. Like if it was if there's a Montreal player, like Guy Lafleur's card in this retro set is the same number as like a Montreal horizontal was in the original.
Okay. The only two,
and like Ed Belfour's aligns with like a Chicago horizontal, like Al Rollins or one of those.
Gotcha. No,
from the original set. Like, so for the most part, if it's like an original 6 guy, we try to get it to where if it was a horizontal, like Toronto player in the original set, we tried to do it with a Toronto player of this set, or kind of like with the retroactives, like maybe even pick guys that have similar traits to the guy who's that original card.
Got it. Yeah, no, I absolutely love them. That Caulfield Suzuki one is awesome. And then now I'm seeing more though. The Mitchkoff one looks sweet. That
the Brodeur one, or I'm sorry, the Belfour one's really nice too.
I wish it was a Brodeur.
Yeah.
The Atom Squad. So are you going to try to follow the yearly theme? So next year is 54-55 honoring, if we can use that word. Are you going to try and look at pop culture in that year and try and do like an Atom Squad thing? And again, okay, awesome, man. I love it.
We haven't even talked about the best part of this set yet.
I'm waiting.
I mean, have you guys seen that? Have you seen the checklist for the cut sigs?
Oh yeah. We're getting there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's a build up, slow build.
Yeah. I got
you. For the grand finale. I want to talk about memorabilia before we get into the autograph. So one of the kind of more significant changes from Parkhurst Champions, but really I don't see this much in many sets, is the memorabilia window is a circle. And we kind of our guess.
Did you watch our little blurb about that?
What was that?
I didn't.
Okay.
What was that? Because of the way I like the base design, that the base design didn't leave, that was kind of the most natural spot to put that in there, but that seems like a little bit don't want to call it a risk because I mean, I guess what are you risking? But it was unorthodox, maybe memorabilia window. Did that cross your mind at all? Like how people were going to respond to that, or no?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, honestly, it was something that I from the get go had intended to be included in the card. So I always thought I always think it's cool, like any of the major four sports, the sets from the 50s, how they had the big circular retro looking team logo on there. So that's kind of an element that I wanted to begin with.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of unorthodox. Like you said, I just thought it'd be cool if that area dropped out for the MIM.
Yeah.
But I mean, there wasn't really anything particular other than the fact that, it's one of the things I think is really cool is those big circular, colorful logos on those vintage cards of that era.
Makes sense. I like the reasoning behind that. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the hallmarks of Parkhurst Champions, and I think what the three of us really like about this product is that for a relatively inexpensive box compared to many others, you get the on-card autos, and for the veterans and legends, game used patches. Do you guys look at that as like tenets or hallmarks of this product, where that you like have intentions of committing to that, where we're not going to see like 3 years from now sticker autos all of a sudden Parkhurst Champions?
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that we've kept going forward. It's one thing I think this set has to have. Like, I think this set, like the retro styling just looks phenomenal with the hard sign autos. I love how on the retros, the stuff that had facsimiles, you can drop the facsimile for a hard sign signature. Like, it just lends itself so well to it. Like, I under my power, I hope we never have to remove this to label for any reason. Because I love it the way it is hard signed. I think it just fits the aesthetic of the card so well.
Did you say label?
Well,
is that what you guys call sticker autos? A label?
Oh, we got this. Yeah.
Okay, just curious. I like the lingo. It's an in-house. You have a culture. You have a culture there. I'm just prying. I
was very fascinated by your lingo.
Yeah.
Does the fact that this is like a paper card set too? To me, I think that factors into the on-card autos, because I think the autos just sit better on paper cards.
Well, yeah, and that's definitely one thing too. Is, I mean, without any UV coating and that clay coat stock that it's on, it just takes ink so well. So yeah, you always get such a nice, vivid like on-card signature with that card stock. That it does definitely lends itself to it in that way.
Has like a poker chip feel to it. Like, is that what clay stock? That's what you called it. It has like a matte poker chip feel.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the final coating they ended up using on that, but yeah, it is actually very similar to what's on. The inserts are on a different substrate than the rest of the set.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we can get to the autographs, and I know there's a bunch of different base parallels. You have base autos. There's a blue parallel to it. There's some autos of greats, which are nothing to, shake your fist at, shake a stick at. Oh, I can't. You got Bedard, Gretzky. Always got to have Gretzky. Madonna I'm sure you did that for Louis, so he thanks you. But it's the cut autos that I think are, what I understand, were a big effort and kind of make this set pretty unique. And it seems like Parkhurst Champions is becoming that's maybe another sort of hallmark of this set. So for people that aren't familiar, what is a cut auto? And then what are the 3 different sets you built within Parkhurst Champions?
Yeah, so definitely. This is like you said earlier, this is the grand finale I was hoping we could really build up to, because I mean, not to, I don't know, pat myself on the back here, but I really think that this year's Parkhurst Champions has some of the best, if not best, cut signatures that I've seen in a hockey product, some of the best themed cut signatures. So basically what a cut signature is if a player's deceased, we get a certified autograph of them, like a PSA certified, Beckett certified on a nice index card, an old program, something like that was signed previously, usually a vintage signature from the era the player was still active. And we'll just remove that signature. More or less, we'll cut it from the item and embed it in a trading card like we would like a piece of memorabilia. So more or less, it allows collectors to chase autographs of players who have been deceased for quite some time that they might not ever have a chance at getting.
Well, we mentioned there's 3 sets. And so the first one that I want to talk to is probably, I would guess, the biggest one. So you have a card for every single player from the 1953-54 Stanley Cup champion Red Wings in this, right?
Yeah, we ended up packing out 23 members of the 53-54 Red Wings. Wow. So it basically, every player who had over a small cup of coffee, every player from that playoff roster. There's a Sawchuk cut in there.
Wow.
Vintage Howe, Lindsay, down to your fourth line players. We tried to get every player from that team. And again, that fits in the whole 53-4 thing, is just trying to honor that championship team from that season.
So when you had that idea, like, take us through like how long that takes. It must have been a little bit before you even knew it would be possible, right? Do you pitch the idea and then say then you guys have to figure out how feasible that is?
Well, I guess kind of my thing is having done content and been a coordinator before I moved over, like I wouldn't say make it a little easier on the guys, but one thing I always do is if I build something, I'll put a little research into it to make sure it can physically be built before I'll throw it at them. And this is definitely one of them. And I think I more or less looked when this one started is, could we get cut signatures of the lesser known players? Like there's thousands of Gordie Howes out there, there's very nice Terry Sawchuks, but can we get cut signatures of the guy who played 12 games at the end of the season and that was his NHL career? And if it kind of worked from the lower end up, like if we could get the tougher players, then we knew we could find the easier players. So
nice.
Is the Gordie Howe cut signature on his team as completely separate card than the Stars of the 50 Gordie Howe?
Yeah, he has 2 different cuts.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Bellevue does too, because he's going to be, I think he's in the Stars of the 50s and the class of 50.
I don't remember when I was looking. I remember Howe though. Probably Bellevue as well. Yeah.
Was there an auto that was the toughest to get?
I'm sure Sawchuk took him a little bit. Actually, okay. I guarantee that's the one they hated me the most for making them track down. Yeah. But they were really good about it. Our content team is super good at that. We throw cut signatures at them. We throw them at them in Goodwin too. And they've always been great about coming back with stuff. So, I mean, like I said, if you could find the couple harder ones or the more oddball ones, the easier ones just kind of fell in line.
Have you seen one pulled yet? Anybody here?
I haven't seen
one. No, me neither. I'm very curious.
Yeah. Well, you hope too that people know what it is and appreciate it. If they do, not some like 7-year-olds like, wow, this is stupid.
Yeah, like is there? I don't even know what the design of the card looks like. It's clearly a different card, right?
Oh yeah, it's clearly a different card. It'd be about as thick as a jersey card, I guess, because it's.
Okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, because we have to embed the signature, so it's a thicker card. Like it's something you would hopefully know is special, aside from the fact that it says 1 and 1 on the front.
Yeah.
There you go. Before we talk about a couple other things, anything else about Parkhurst Champions that you think the collecting world should know about?
Yeah, I'll just real quick. You brought up all 3 of those cuts 6 sets, so I'll just touch on the other 2 real quick. The other one that I'm really impressed or really happy that we were able to get is we did a class of 53-54 cut signature set in which we got a cut signature from every single guy who had a rookie in the original Parkhurst set.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So there were 13 players designated as having rookie cards in that 53 set. We got a cut signature of every one. So yeah, that class of 53 set is literally every single player who had a rookie in the original set.
That's your second Belleville. That's why you got 2, right? The
class. I think there's one in that and the 50s.
I get it.
And then finally, just all inclusive to hit on some of the other 6 teams, some league subjects that we might have cuts for. We do have just stars of the 50s cuts, just loaded with Hall of Famers from that era.
Yeah, big names like Bobby Hall, Johnny Bauer, Frank Mahovlich, Boom Boom, Jeffrey on, Gordie Howe there. We've already talked about Gump Worsley, Doug Harvey, who was Bobby Orr before Bobby Orr, right? Henri Richard, lots of big names. Jean Beliveau is in there as well. So yeah, it's a kind of a who's who of the Hall of Famers in the 1950s.
Yeah, and that's what's cool about Parkhurst Champs too, is it's the one set where it really allows us to link like the past and the present like this, even more so than like artifacts or a set like that. I think so.
Oh yeah, no comparison, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah, in your opinion.
Before you move on, Josh.
Yeah,
Pat, this doesn't have to be like Parkhurst completely related, but I'm trying to I want to bring a couple of things down to like somebody newer collecting and wondering how some things are done. Like when you're deciding to make inserts for this set or any set, how do you choose what players you're going to put into that one, or what's going through your head? If you want, I'm on this really cool website called hockeychecklist.com, and I'm looking at Atom squads. So just out of curiosity, if you want to use that or something else with Atom squad, how did you decide like what 10 guys you were going to put in that one?
Isn't it obvious? Who looks like the biggest alien? The ugliest guys.
Yeah. So actually, that's our content side. That our coordinators actually build the checklist. But when we outline a product at the beginning, we'll kind of give a generalized direction to them. And a set like that, it's more guys that are top end stars. Shake, rattle, and roll are going to be, obviously players with a little more bite to their game, like a little more physical guys. Stuff like that. So I'll kind of give like a general theming of where we want to go with it. Crease Lightning's 25 cards. 5 of these need to be Hall of Famers. And from there, our content team will actually fill out that checklist, but we'll kind of give like general direction of where to go with it.
Got it. Okay.
Can we maybe get like some old like gloves in the future? I love the old like brown leather gloves.
Yeah.
Instead of just patches. Huh, Phil? Phil?
Leave that for the cup. Leave that for the cup. Yeah.
Stop.
So I question before I move on from Parker's champion. So I know you said already. So this is a clay substrate, a clay card.
Yeah.
Are these? So these are 2 completely different card stocks. Is that correct?
Yeah. The other one, the shiny ones, just are a rainbow foil.
That's just this yellow is the same card stock. Like this whole thing is the same. It's just the way the card was designed with rainbow foil all over.
100%. Yeah.
That's wild.
We use the same. Like you might have to put maybe a white coloring behind it, depending on the kind of substrate. But yeah, honestly, they can use the same color, same basic 4-color coloration that they use for that base card as they can for that foil card.
Like the when I pulled this from a pack, this Lane Hudson rookie, the contrast, I swear to God, this better focus. The contrast from this yellow, there we go. This is one of the greatest hockey cards I've ever held in my hand. Just the style, the shine, the yellow to the silver here with the red, like phenomenal. Absolutely. And this card's not, okay, maybe this particular one might be a couple of bucks, but just don't lose that, Pat, please. Moving forward, that this is just beautiful, phenomenal, brother. That's a real good hockey card that you created, man. It's awesome. Big fan.
Good job by you.
Good job by you. Yeah. No bueno. No, wait. No, that's not good. That's not what I meant to say.
Bueno by you.
Bueno. Yeah, okay.
Muy bueno.
I'm trying to learn Spanish, kind of.
What? Well, good job on Parker's champions. You did well. We give you, if you need us to be part of your next performance review, we can for a small fee.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
All right. What other sets are you working on? What's coming down the pipeline in the Party Time Pat? Product?
Currently, small break in some Party Time Pat sets. I think looking maybe August, September-ish, I will have I know I'll have the next year premiere in Ultimate. I'm sorry, I'll have the next year premiere. I do not have Ultimate next year. Working on Artifacts again. That'll be out around September.
That's a loyal following, eh? Artifacts.
Is Artifacts going to be early this year? September. Wow.
Hopefully September, October is when we're shooting for it. We're doing our best to try to get back to a beginning of season release. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like you guys are getting caught up. Will you guys be at the draft?
I'm sure our marketing team will. Not us in particular, but
they don't let
they
you
need
out
anybody.
Of the page to go and meet Michael Misa or anything like that, or
like I said, that's all. They don't take anybody who looks like me there.
I think you're handsome, buddy.
Yeah.
They hide me deep behind Parkhurst champions.
And they hide Billy even deeper.
Yeah, but then why is Pat's stuff so much better?
I don't know. It's bizarre.
Billy's.
That's not fair. He's not here to defend himself. Poor Billy.
Billy, I really didn't.
Well, you could tell that you.
I know you're going to listen to this, Billy, so I love you.
Yeah, we do. We love you,
Billy.
You can tell that you put a lot of heart into the set and that you really enjoyed it and you put a lot of thought behind it. And as a hobbyist, I appreciate that. So I want to communicate.
Big time. Big thank you. Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah. And I've said before to you guys, man, I mean, I've been a collector my whole life. I still collect. So, one of the things that I think helps with that is whenever it comes time to build something or theme something, like I can kind of always think of it, A, with the UD hat on, but B, with that collector's hat. And yeah, like I said, I hope this one provided a bunch of cool content. I'm real glad you guys liked it. And
yeah.
Hope people who break it. The breaks I've watched so far seem pretty good on it. So
I forget that you are a big time collector. I can't believe this. So I have one last question. Even if you're not working on a set, but a major decision is about to be decided. I've said on numerous times on the podcast, I really wish Upper Deck had like a hobby fanatic that worked for them. And I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm sorry. We've even met. I'm so sorry. Do they come by and knock on your door and say, "Hey, Pat, we know you're not, this is above your pay grade. As a card collector, what do you think about this idea?" Because I always say if they just asked a hobbyist, they'd get probably 90% of the time the right answer. So
yeah,
I don't know if that puts you in a bad spot. I'm sorry, but I do feel like I need to ask that question.
No, that's a perfectly valid question. I mean, definitely not on our end, because you have to look at the guys that I work with. Like Tony and Billy are equally as big collectors as I am. We work with Grant, who's the master splinter of trading cards. Like, so as far as our department goes, we're lucky because our department's pretty loaded with bigger lifetime collectors. But yeah, I'd like to think that I'm always open around the building to educate. People definitely come up and ask hard questions all the time. Ask the nuts and bolts of it, and
I hope you're honest. I hope you're honest, even if it's not an answer they want to hear. Be like, I don't think they'll really fly with that. You know what I mean? Like honesty hurts, but it's more important.
I'm one of the harshest critics in these four walls.
Excellent, I love it.
No, there's a lot. There's sometimes
prove it.
Not
Criticize
the most favorable thing, but
that's too easy. We got to give him like a pretty girl to criticize. Then he'd be like, you can't.
Oh, you just called Grant Master Splinter though. Is it because of how wise he is, or did you just call him a rat?
Oh no, that man knows everything twice that there is to know about trading cards.
Grant's amazing.
Yeah.
I do have one more question, kind of related to Parker's Champions. As a collector, when you're building a set like this and you spend, I don't know how long it takes, a month or two, thinking about it, do you get the itch at all to buy some vintage hockey cards and some 53, 54 Parkies?
Yeah, and honestly, like with a set like this, like just for our archives here at the office, like I bought back most of the common stuff, but I bought back a decent amount of vintage 50s Parkhurst because, definitely when we were trying to get the sizing right and those retros. Another thing that some of those retros in the original 53 set didn't have facsimile signatures on it. So we tried to match like some of the cards that didn't have the facsimile with the type signature. So ordering an original copy of original 53, 54, a signed and an unsigned version to have examples of so yeah, it was really cool. Obviously, could never afford to rip any of it, but as far as single wise, yeah, I wanted to make sure we got as close as possible. So yeah, we ordered it, a handful of originals in, so we had them here. So we could look at, how big the text boxes were on the back, the sizing and stuff. So,
how good, Pat, your set was? I have a show every Friday nights with Phil, 9 p.m. I give away out of the boxes an LCS of mine, and they give me a box to give away on every release. I gave away to a winner who's a friend of mine. He won, no collusion. And he won, and I love your product. I love Parkhurst Champion so much. I opened his winning box, and I have to go buy a new one and send it to him. Andrew's fine. It's okay if he listens to this. That's fine. But, dude, that's it's just sitting there. I'm like, no, I'm opening it because I love it so much. I'll just go buy him a new one. And then be proud, man. Be proud.
Yeah, that makes all the work worth it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It really does. So,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, more than anything, having guys like you guys that could collect, and that's who we do it for, man. So
yeah, brother, you can. And this collector can tell. Thank you.
What if you'd have opened that box and there'd have been a cut auto or something there? You wouldn't even said anything today.
I would have told Andrew.
Oh, good.
I would have told. He's a good guy. Yeah, he would have. I'd be like, well, I'll cut it in half and I'll mail you the other half.
You can have the Gordy. I'll take the half.
Yeah.
Would it be too hard to do buyback autos of old?
Stop with the buybacks. Don't put buybacks in this product.
No. But if you bought 53, 54 Parkhurst.
Oh, they're all dead.
So yeah, here's something we did look at it early in the process. It's something that we thought would be extremely cool to do. It's just at this point, yeah, most of them are deceased, and you would just have to buy pre-slapped cards at this point.
Complication, yeah.
That's especially any of your every key player in that set is deceased at this point. So it just makes it hard to do. If you're doing a tribute in a set that's 20 or 30 years away, like we did in SPX, definitely, But
the key to Parkhurst Champions, I think you realize that keep it simple and beefy. Right? Yeah. Look at keep it. Say you pick 8 things you have to work so hard on. You're not going to do it, man. You pick 4 things, like your cut autos. Make sure patch windows replicate. Pick 3 or 4 good things, and then that's what you hit the grand slam on. And I think you did. So
okay. The next thing though, because there is a little bit of an issue we got to talk about. So next year's release will have the 54, 55 retros. Then the year after that, we'll have the 55, 56 Parkhurst retros. But the year after that, there's a problem because there was no 1956, 57 Parkhurst. Dun, dun, dun.
I guess when we get to those, honestly, I think I mentioned them earlier. If you remember, in the 90s, UD did do some missing link Parkhurst sets.
Oh.
I honestly think that 56, 57, I think one of those years that's missing from the 50s was done as a missing link set in the 90s.
Okay.
So you might use that. Or maybe you just pass the product off to somebody else at that point and let them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
give it to the new guy.
I'm not even against it. No, if we get to a point where we hit a year there wasn't a Parkhurst, I'm not even fine with challenging our creative guys to come up with almost like a what if from those years. Like a prototype Parker set that doesn't.
Make it now.
What if Phil had a girlfriend?
Right.
Phil, what would the world be like?
Phil, you said you didn't want you don't want buybacks placed in these because everybody's dead. Well, last I looked, Seidel and
it was a passing comment. I don't know. Okay, half of them are alive. Whatever, man. I don't know.
McDavid and Draisaitl are in this one. They're dead.
Not that, you silly goose. The 53, 54.
Their Stanley Cup dreams are dead.
That's what I meant.
No, yeah, I toyed around with different ways of doing buybacks. Like originally, I had even thought about doing oversized, like before I saw that they just couldn't be.
Don't do oversized. Listen, that's his.
No, I was
don't do it.
originally going to do oversized box toppers, but that's what I was going to insert the buybacks in.
Oh, okay.
You would have had to have ripped the numbered box topper to get a retro card. So it
That's pretty
challenges
cool.
you. Are
Listen,
you a
no
modern
tall
guy
boy.
and you care more that it's numbered out at 10, or are you a vintage guy who cares that there could be a really cool Parkhurst card inside the
I like both. No tall boys. Don't listen. Well, we know everyone's tried that. It doesn't work. It doesn't sell well. I don't think anyway.
No, I those 1/8 inch bigger. That's a big.
That's awesome.
Like, because we made sure beforehand that they fit in a standard sleeve, standard top loader. Anything bigger than that, I don't want people to have to go buy new supplies.
See, that's why. That's how Pat's a collector. I bet you a non-collector would have not thought of that. There you go. Yeah.
Who's your team? I don't know if you've ever asked.
I'm a Blackhawks fan, unfortunately.
You a Bedsy guy?
Don't say unfortunately. It's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their team, man.
Yeah, we all.
No, yeah. I hope he can work it out there. Like, I think he's gonna be good,
man. Lucas Reichel, come on, you guys just signed. Who'd you sign to an extension? Not Nazar, Granato? No, I don't know. You just signed Ryan Donato. You just signed Donato. He's a great player. It's good. You guys will be all right. Spencer Knight, come on, brother. Great goalie.
Got a goal. Yeah. You just need D, bro.
Yeah.
Do you have a PC guy?
What? Not really. No.
Okay.
My one guy at PC's. I PC Griffey. So.
No, that's cheap. That's good.
Wayne Griffey.
Yeah. Wayne Griffey.
Yeah. Might as well be. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's kind of been the guy I PC'd since I was a little smaller guy. Still do. So.
Nice. Are you going to be at the National? Or
I will be. Yeah.
Ooh, we'll see you there.
Nice. We'll see you there.
See you there.
Yeah, I think our whole group's
We'll
there.
do lunch. Let's do lunch.
Oh, sounds good. Me, Bill, Tony will all be there. So
nice. We have a meeting with Jason. Get any advice for us? We're scared.
Just tell him how awesome I am. I think he needs to hear how Parker's champions is just off the rails.
I got you, brother. I got you. I've burned all the bridges with him, so I can say anything. It's fine.
Jason, I need to interrupt you. Let's talk about Patrick.
Yeah, let's talk about Pat.
How does he still have a job? No.
Yeah, and it's not party. We won't say party time, Pat. We'll say work so hard, Pat. That's your new nickname. Work so hard, Pat.
That's too much.
Yeah.
I would call you a legend to him, but now I can't.
Don't. I'll sue you.
I'll settle for great.
Okay. Well, thank you, Patrick, for joining the show. Congratulations on the set. You did good.
As always, boys. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking cards with you guys. So
yeah, brother.
Anytime.
Right.
Thanks, buddy.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah. See you in Chicago.
Thank you again to Patrick for joining the show. I like Patrick a lot. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to hang out with him. He's. You
want to get an apartment?
No, you're the one who wants to get bunk beds with Louis.
No, I might already have bunk beds with Louis.
Yeah, I know. No one knows.
You just may not know because you would get jealous and sad.
Yeah,
maybe. Anything to wrap up? What I want to say is, how amazing is it that we get the opportunity to chat with folks at Upper, like Billy, Patrick, Grant, Matthew, Tony, anyone there. You know, when you sit and wonder why, it's like, well, why did they call legends greats, or why didn't actually get the answer though? Is it changes your whole perspective on. And I'll admit, I think a lot of us get really cynical at times, and I'm susceptible of myself. It's like we think that maybe they're being careless or something like that, or they just weren't thinking, whatever the reason might you conjure up. And it's like, for a lot of this stuff, it's a good reminder to me anyways, that there's as kind of ridiculous as this reason seemed to be in my mind, that there is a reason why some of these changes happen. And
so I think a modern day thing to do, if I'm playing armchair president, CEO, COO, owner, board of director guy for Upper Deck, I would make a public announcement. I would have a press conference and say, we're not using the words legends because of this specific reason. That's how silly this is. Obviously, no one's going to do that. Everything's very suit and tie over there. But what about a social media post? Like, hey guys, Parkhurst champion is going to be a little different. Just to let you know, I think disclosure is nice. When you don't need, when a company doesn't need disclosure, they don't have to do it, but it's throwing us a bone, right? So instead
Well,
of
they
getting
came on our
defensive-
show and did it. So I mean, I guess
yeah, fair enough. Okay, fine, I'll be quiet. Just tell me to
Good.
be quiet then.
Good for us.
Yeah, Pat also said, I don't know if I should have said that though. He did say that.
Those are the best moments because
Those are the best. Yeah, no editing. No editing. Yeah.
You know, Pat's going to HR and we're real happy, right?
Yeah.
And I think you and I talked last night or this morning a little bit, Phil. I just got to say for the record, it's getting ridiculous what can be trademarked. And this is not an Upper Deck thing. They don't make the laws. It's not even a Hall of Fame thing. It's our governments, whether it's Canada or US, I don't know. But like the US has the Patent and Trademark Office. I understand like the example I gave you last night, Phil, was if somebody wants to trademark like Pokemon, makes all the sense in the world to me because that's a word that didn't exist. It was a made up word to describe a product. When we're at the point where we're trademarking common words that people use every day, there has to be a line, right? And like I said, I don't blame the Hall of Fame. I don't blame Upper Deck. It's the government entity that's allowing that. I just think it's getting ridiculous. And we also talked about the whole Yeti thing, which I think is a little bit more of a gray area, but I still think is a Yeti is a mythical creature that's existed for a long time in fiction. Mm-hmm. And I get it. They make awesome coolers, but does that prevent anyone now from ever using the term Yeti for commercial purposes again? I just don't think that should be the case.
Yeah, it's crazy. The word legend is insane. I mean, it's mostly it's a freaking adjective or a noun. Like, how do you do this? I don't understand.
Oh, it's just like the end of any. Well, I guess it maybe only works for basketball and hockey, but NBA trademarked the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say the NHL Finals. It's the NHL Final. Because of
that. Yeah, and like how Patrick Riley, or Pat Riley, trademarked three-peat right after the Lakers won 3 championships in a row. So like, yeah, it's this whole kind of thing, and it's just, it goes back to, and this is such a dangerous conversation, but I don't want to get into the whole word thing, but like I've talked to my wife. Okay, I'm gonna get into a little bit, but I've talked to my wife before. My wife is a social worker. She's the kindest, most empathetic person in the world, and I love that about her. She only wants the best and nice things for people, and just from a point of honesty and curiosity, like, because I know in the world of disabilities that almost every word is now like not copacetic. And so like I've asked her, well, how do you describe somebody now with a disability in a way that isn't offensive to, there's almost no way. Like
I'm done with all that. That's I'm done. The pendulum swung too far. They had me for a few years, but I'm done now.
But
intent is all that matters.
It's the intent of the word. And it's like, and again, it's a horrible tangent because it's such a dangerous topic, and we'll get out of it really fast. But
yes,
but it kind of feels, and the reason why I brought it up is it feels similar to that on the marketing side, where it's like, if we're literally gonna have to pause every other sentence and be like, well, I want to communicate a thought, but here's the 4 words I can't say anymore because some company owns that word.
The thought police will come get you. I thought we were over the thought police. Yeah, it's crazy. It's too much. We're gonna we have to get cerebral. You just have to be like this, and then you'll know.
But a lot of other great info though about the set, and
Pat's awesome. Pat's great.
The detail and the care he put into building that is what I really appreciate too. Makes you like the set even more.
I had no idea the cards were bigger. I moved them, but the 53s, they were what, a quarter inch taller or something. He said
1/8 of an inch, and that's a huge deal to a guy like you, an 1/8 inch.
Yeah. 3/4 of an 1/8.
That's like doubling what you normally get, right?
Yeah, hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, well, that's our show.
It is.
Hope you guys enjoyed our triple header. I think our first ever. It was kind of fun to do. We had a great time talking to everyone. If you like the show, please leave a rating review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, if you love Louis and can tolerate Phil and want to support us and chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gong Show Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our on a $2.99 support level tier. I just love the way you look at me when I join our $2.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description on YouTube and podcast apps, Instagram, TikTok profile, on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. And check on our website if you haven't. It's fun. And on Patreon at patreon.com and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. We're on social media. Yeah, we're cool. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And boys, the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures, LLC. Baba Louie, want to take us out?
See you later. Bye.
Gong Show, we're dropping the facts. Hockey cards on fire, no holding us back. Josh looking sharp, the face of the scene. Feeling pork chop pants, rocking it clean. Baba Louie in the booth, he's the man with the plan. The best producer in all the land. Gong Show Nation, let's hit the flow. It's the Hockey Cards Gong Show, let's go, let's go. Wanna say them in the show.
Suck it, Trebek. Oh.